Through some weird stuff with my cell phone. I had no idea what the heck that was all about, but at least we're here. All right, first things first, my name is Kenneth Bird. My company is ILEG, Infusion Light Energy Gain. And then we make another gain called SFEG, which is called Sun Fusion Energy Gain, which is a technology we're working on for the first daytime projection screen that will allow customers to go anywhere they want to go, inside or out, any time of the day, and operating a projection screen setup. Our ILEG technology is the screen paint. So we make, this is actually, I think, maybe our last screen paint we'll ever be developing. Everything else is just visible, transparent screens that pretty much absorb a lot of sunlight. That's our new technology. And on top of that, hello to all new subscribers. So we got a bunch of new subscribers who've been coming to our channel and checking out what we do. Thank you so much for that. We really appreciate that. I have been going through some difficult times on my channel because, explaining to you, we've had some people who openly attacked our company. And I mean, when we mean openly attacked, they went after family members, they went after friends, they went after customers. They just carried on and acted up. Our company is a Christian-based company. Everything we do, we back up on our channel. I have tons of videos. You can go through my YouTube channel. You'll see tons of videos of us testing all types of projectors, unboxings, videos of inside, outside. We back up everything we do. All our products are tested. We have something called batch number verification. This is where we test all products before they're shipped to the customer. Our customers will get this little serial number or date next to their container. And then you'll be able to match that with the video of showing your product was tested before it was shipped out. We've had individuals come in and mix black paint and put our labels on it, literally. Have done fake unboxings where they've actually printed our addresses on United States postal boxes, even go as far as actually making a fake receipt. They claim it came from our company. We had individuals stalk our businesses, stalk family members, and all of this started because of a fellow by the name, and I hate to put this into the video, but it is what it is, by the name of Jamie Fernando Gonzalez. A fellow who had a YouTube channel called Crow 1176 is the one who instigated all this nonsense because he was jealous because many years back he came to our channel requesting our products and we told him no, this is something we sell, and he went to a prison. He's been stalking us ever since. So if anyone asks us, do we have, yes, this is taken care of already. We have legal involved in this. There's police, law, FBI, you name it. Even terrorists, something for immigration, they're involved in it. There's a lot of agencies now tied to this. And the most recent problem we had was from a fellow by this Mr. Derek Franklin Williams, who calls himself a minister, a person of church, which he is not. That is the latest one. So Monday morning, we're reaching out. Legal reached out to us first. We're reaching back out to legal to get that matter under control. And there are legals and lawsuits involved in it. There are multiple lawsuits on this mess. But anyway, it's all being cleared up. And one of the things on our Christian channel, what we do is that I'm explaining to them to people who commit these crimes. We go to God. We seek God. So if I have a problem with someone, I'll get down on my knees. This is my book here. I'm going to show you what our Projector looks like. I've had this book for many years. This is my Bible. See my Bible? See how old it is? I've had this Bible for a very, very long time. Before I even had my YouTube channel, I had this Bible. This is my book right here that I go to. And the one upstairs who protects me, this is who I go to. So I have a problem from a YouTuber or anybody wants to carry an act up, I go to God. And when I get on my knees and pray to him, I say, Lord, could you find him, seek him, and bring him forth? Guess what happens? We find you. Every single time, we find you. Every time. People we couldn't figure out who their names were, we found out who they were. We know where they live at. Everything pops up. Whoop. You can't hide from God. So, what I said about a month ago, I sat there in the middle of that floor, and I announced to the world, to everyone, I said, if I am this person who they say that I am, may the Lord take it all from us. May he expose us. Whatever's in the dark, may he bring it out in the light. Our technology advanced by great levels. This is how we ended up with a product called SFEG. It is a screen that literally absorbs sunlight at 50 to 300 lumens. Check it out on our channel. We got videos of us walking all over Allentown shooting this thing at the end of the day. It is the most insane form of screen I've ever seen. We literally have the power now to go anywhere we want to go. Not only that, the Allentown has a business program. The director himself was here in this room looking at all our stuff. Came back, talked to his other colleagues, and they approved us already to have a massive business for help. They had loans for helps and stuff like that for advertising, finances, lawyers, all that stuff, anything we need. We already got approved. They pushed the application right through. Next stage is we're going to be getting funding for our company, and that is going to allow our company to be able to do the things we need to do on a much larger level. Now, what do we do here and why these individuals were so jealous? Well, we make amazing products. Our products are untouchable. We have something called match embedders we put out, and the match embedders are basically challenging other companies, other people who make these products to do the exact same videos that we did, because we had a lot of people, and we find it's interesting. They want to call us all these bad things, but yet they want to claim they're us. I don't know how that even works at all. That doesn't even make any sense. We've had people copy our specification sheets, people steal customer pictures and claim it to be their own, people that will steal our name and claim it to be them. And I tell you, at the end of the day, it doesn't help you. This is what it does for you when you do that. If the customer thinks at the end of the day you have what we have, he's going to come straight to you, and he's going to find out you don't have what we have because you don't do your testing, you don't do your products correctly, you don't do them by the book. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to file either a chargeback or PayPal complaint not as described against you, and then they're going to seek us, find us, and buy from us. So technically all you're doing is just making them upset towards you and basically bringing us business, because that's what you've been doing. For the last couple of weeks, I've been getting a lot of business from people who have been dealing with these individuals, and they've been very unhappy with the situation, and they've been coming to us. So in our demonstrations, we don't use high-powered, expensive projectors. We don't. I use projector to have a personal challenge for myself. I can only buy projectors under $200. That's it. All my machines I have in here are under $200. So what we're doing is we're basically designing high-performance projection screen paints and screens, challenging those screens against other superior screens. And we've done this for years. We've always challenged certified screens, and showing the people at the end of the day that you don't need expensive projectors, you don't need dark environments, you don't need calibration, you don't need to spend the money for an expensive projector with high inky contrast, none of that at all. That's old technology. It's all old. Right now, we have the most powerful gain on the face of the planet. A screen that absorbs sunlight at 50 to 300 lumens. There's no screen on the planet who has it. And that right there shows you that the ALR screens, again, which I think are the biggest joke screens on the face of the planet, and I'll explain to you why. It's a gray screen. Gray screens can't see contrast. They can't pick up color correctly. They come up dull and they come up muddy. That's what they look like. You stick them next now on a standalone by themselves, they may look like they're working. We've done these demonstrations. But if you stick it next to a more superior technology, you'll see all the flaws in it, left and right. You'll see it in left and right. Now, the certifieds do work. Certified screens do exactly what they claim to do. Only thing they can't claim is they read the 100% contrast level, which they do not do because their screens are dark gray. But they do what they do. And if you put a certified next to everyday gray paint, you will see why that screen costs $3 grand. Now, our technology beat the certified because our screens come up black, which means we read the level that the certified wants to read, but it can't read, which makes our technology far more valuable. Instead of spending $3,000 for a 100-inch screen, our customers get a 106-inch screen for around $247. That's why we've had companies contact us, these big companies contact us. Diamond contacted us many years back when we were actually in the process of making a gunmetal technology like theirs. And those emails came back saying, hey, your product looks like it has potential. I'm going to be posting those emails directly to our site so people can check out some of the companies that were interested in our technology at that particular time. But anyway, yeah, we got that kind of exposure for that technology. Now, as you can see in our demonstrations, the match embedders, they're put out there because we have people out there that will say at the end of the day, oh, his products are fake, they're not real. He's using special camera equipment. My lawyers are involved in that too. Special camera equipment, all that stuff. Well, that's what the match embedders are for. The match embedders are for you to go out and back it up. If you're on camera making these statements, then you need to get to work. Go out and buy yourself a dozen projectors, walk in multiple environments. You guys stay in the same environment. We're all over the place with this stuff. Do what we do. Do the exact same thing. If it's so easy, just do the exact same thing. Mind you, we go to court. My lawyer's going to ask you that question. Well, you felt the need to make these statements. Show us some videos where you have the exact same thing that Mr. Bird has. Mind you, for those you don't know, these lawsuits start off at $1 million. They're hefty lawsuits because these guys have been doing some really weird stuff. And the prison time for this, I think a maximum, what lawyers will ask for, my ass, is 50 years. Because there was so many of them involved and what they did and how they were attacking family members. They're just doing some weird stuff. Anyway, so they don't like the fact that we are working on better products for customers. They would rather have you buy their products where they're going in and have no testing, no batch number verification. Go to the blacklist. You will see the research we've done on these guys. Jamie or Crow 1176 matched house paint in 2 different occasions. I mean, literally matched itself. Network grade 773, which one of them, there were 2 videos in that one. And you can see also 2 in the videos that he tried to remove them. You'll see a thing will pop up, say it's no longer there. He tried to remove. Stealing Google images, pasting them to their website to make it look like their images. That's pretty bad, when you, especially on a 4K projector, a P2 when you do that. Matching all different types of house paints. You'll see a post office mail fraud. It's all up there. And then you'll see another one who tried to come up with a black paint, which failed miserably, by the name of Danny Rogers. Danny Rogers was a guy who had a company, and it's still there, but there's no activity on it, called Parte PSP Products, where he tried to make a paint called the Series C. A guy called Daniel McAfee, which tried to go by the name of Solid Lake 5. My Lord seeks you. He found you. He brought you to us. We know his full name now. So Daniel McAfee, as a fellow who did campaigning for these guys, he would go in there and he would do these demonstrations. And keep in mind, he's also in the process of being sued for a considerable amount of money. My name was mentioned multiple times in videos by him, and him explaining that our products were nothing but scams and fakes. That's defamation, buddy, on so many levels. It's not even funny. But anyway, he did this video on the Series C. Now, in the Series C, it's on the page, the blacklist, by the way. I'm gonna put the link for the blacklist and check it out. When he did the video, he put the meter next to the screen. Now, if you have anything black and you stick it next to gray, it's going to come up where the screen's showing it's gray. You're going to see that. We don't even know why he didn't see it the first time. And then there's objects in the environment like speakers and what you can see around. It's not matching the screen because the screen is actually gray. So he did this demonstration. He talked all this nonsense about how our products were fake and they were phony and this, that, and the other, and it didn't work. One of the problems we had too in the video, that the item that he showed in his hand was just a phantom. It was bearing our label. The problem was the product inside wasn't ours. It's another lawsuit he has faced in his way. So when I mean multiple lawsuits, people, we're talking about multiple lawsuits. Some of these people got 10 to 12 lawsuits coming their way. It's bad. But let's move on from there. That's going to be taken care of. We got some stuff going through on Monday morning with some people. So he proceeded to say that this was our product. It was not our product, because we've done tons of testing. One of the testings we do, if you go to our website, you scroll down to the bottom, you'll see something called black versus black. A black versus black test is a very important test. The gray versus gray are supposed to do these two also. And I just jumped off topic. We'll go right back. This is where we put black paint, black fabric, black film, you name it. Anything that's black, we lay it against our screen. And we do this demonstration. We show the white levels where our technology picks up the highest white level. We drop these at 300 lumens. We drop these at 50 lumen projectors. So that way we're not accused of using high-powered projectors to produce high white levels. My environment in here, and most environments we work in, have extreme lighting in it. We like to work on extreme lighting. I can't stand doing videos in the dark. It's too easy. It's boring for us. But anyway, so with that. So anyway, that's how we knew that when that screen came up dark on a white level. Mind, we test our screens against certified white screens. I don't know how a gray screen would be able to do this. The screen was coming up really dark, so we knew it wasn't ours. We know what black paint looks like. Anyway, in this demonstration, a star field popped up. And when the star field popped up, the Series C turned gray, which means the entire time when he was doing the demonstration, he had to have known the screen was gray. Because if you stick something black against something gray, you can clearly see it's a gray screen. So That's a lot of questioning right there. He knew and he uploaded it, and it wasn't a live stream. And even in the live stream, you're setting up, you still be able to see the difference. So she's completely colorblind, which would be jacked up. I don't know why you'd be doing an interview if you're colorblind. But anyway, so anyway, the screen came up great. He went on camera, he tried to lie and say, well, light coming through the blinds, which were pointed up, not toward the screen, because that's light hitting the ceiling and sprinkling around the environment. And buddy, you don't know the laws of physics for some reason. No, I'm sorry. Blinds should have been pulled up, number one. They shouldn't have been this way. And they shouldn't have been this way or this way. They should have been pulled all the way up. But blinds on the opposite side where the screen was not in direct light were up. So again, bigger problem he had, screen came out gray. And this happened multiple times. It happened with a product, he had a darker gray mix. Again, came up gray. And then in the close-up on the paint down on the screen, there was a lot of shrieking going on. These little bubbles kept popping up. That's a lot of water being put in paint. Had a kind of an English muffin, kind of dry look to it, because that's all the bubbles popping, and then they dry into little craters. That would have wrecked your screen big time. And then there was like a skin-like kind of coating, like if you get pudding, you had the skin-like kind of texture that was popping up on the screen. Weird thing about the video too, you can also watch on the blacklist, the larger screen he was painting, for some reason in the editing, you can see where he basically spun it up and edited it automatically turned black. And then the one he was painting up close didn't turn black. So he went in and painted over that screen and came back. We saw that in the video. So there's a lot of things wrong with this product. Big lie. The biggest lie I've ever heard in screen paint products ever. Gain range. You ever heard of this stuff before? I've never heard it before, ever. So basically, gain range, and this is going to sound jacked up. This is the reason why we're taking these individuals to court. Mind you, we're taking their companies to court. We're challenging their companies on the very things they had in their specification sheet. Because this mess is getting out of control. It really is. And the customers are getting ripped off left and right in the process. But gain range is supposed to be a gain that allows you to be able to produce two different gains on your screen depending on the direction you paint the screen in. Now you tell me if that does not sound absolutely bonkers to you. That's the equivalent of somebody saying, I've said this many times before, you buy a car, this car changes colors the faster you go. That does sound kind of stupid, doesn't it? But that's what he claimed. It's on his page, if it's still there. He claims that if you paint the screen in a different direction, the gain changes. How in the world would that be physically possible? Is there a Harry Potter wand coming with this paint mix? Is there one coming with it, or some kind of abracadabra or whatever hocus pocus? Because that's not possible. So he's not adding any crystals to it. There's nothing special, little packets or little crystals, or nothing like that. It's the same paint. If you just paint it in a different direction, he claims that this changes the gain range. Look, I ain't trying to be rude here at the end of the day, but the guy's a little up there at the end of the day. And some people, when they get up there a little bit, some people, their brains, it depends on how you age. Sometimes your brain goes with the flow, and sometimes it goes against the flow. And I think he's got some problems there, because I've never heard anything that crazy in my life. So I did go in and I did question him. I went in, go look on the blacklist. We sent several emails to his account. I've sent emails to his account requesting 2 videos on the gain range, which were supposed to be there in the videos, but when you click on the link, this other video popped up of him painting the screen in. It was a very awful job, by the way, and that was removed later on. It's gone. Whew. Yeah, this is the mess I've been seeing in screen paints lately. A lot of lying. A lot of saying we pull contrast levels when you don't pull contrast levels. So, what we do on this channel, where we're going to be exposing the nonsense, and exposing the nonsense is not just YouTube. We're going to be taking a lot of people to court, which means you're going to challenge your company and put you into a courtroom, and it's going to be between me and the judge. If none of the shenanigans stuff that you pull on YouTube, you're going in front of a judge for all of this. So that means that all that showboating you like to do, all that's nipped in the butt. Things get real now. We're going to bring into the real world how business really works, where companies challenge each other. Why? I tell you why. I love what Epson did. Epson went in and challenged Valva. I was there when I watched Valva's promo demonstrations that came up for their Kickstarter program, and they claimed they had this ultra short throw projector that had a whopping 6,000 lumens. Now, I've been around 6,000 lumens, and I can tell you there's no way to where that projector was anywhere near 6,000 lumens. I've had a conversation with Valva. I actually have a screenshot where I got kicked out of one of their forum rooms because I got them to admit that the projector was a 4K, but a 1080p based projector that's using shifting technology. For those who want to get there and scream at me and say, oh, 4K shifting technology and 4K is real, no, it's not. An audio connoisseurist, a person who basically specializes in audio, will tell you from the door that a shifting 4K is not going to have proper audio. You need actual 4K video to match 4K audio. And the reason why I know this is because I used to work for a company called Spencer's back in the day, or sorry, Tweeters back in the day, and we used to basically do all these jobs where we did home theater installments. And one of the things I found out, people had 720p projectors and were trying to run a 7.1 digital output, was getting a 1 second sound delay due to the fact that the signal for the 1080p wasn't there. It was lacking because the signal for the audio was much higher than the video output. So I know this for a fact because I used to do installments back in the day when you had those godforsaken Sony Vegas that weighed like a freaking ton, like 2 refrigerators for like a 20-inch. They were heavy. They were so freaking heavy. Every time somebody ordered with them, I mean, we got paid well, but gee, it was Louise. That's probably the reason why I got back problems now. Anyway, so that right there alone, I know that from the door. So there's no way in the world, if you're talking about having a real 4K setup, you have a 4K audio system set up, you would definitely get that delay would pop up because this signal from there is not true. Anyway, so we got this nice little conversation, and I have it as one of my greatest trophies. I have them admitting, because I got them in the room and I got the crowd on my side, and I just asked them basic questions. What is the basic resolution format on your projector? It's got to start from somewhere. I can't say out of somewhere. It's got to start. What are you shifting from? What are you compressing from? What's the base of your projector? It's a 1080p based projector at $3,700 with a 4,000 to 1 contrast, which is considered extremely poor. 4,000 to 1 is extremely poor. Why? 2011, 2012 models have that. That's the highlight for their projectors, 4,000. You should be way over that. My projector here has a higher contrast than basically the $3,700 Valva projector. This one cost me $40. This is a 10,000 to 1. The projector I had on the floor, which is an NEC, had 4,000 to 1. And their projector had a 3,000 to 1. Oh, so they didn't have 3,000. I remember getting a conversation with some guy named Phantom HD that was ranking about how that projector was so amazing. And he did some demonstration. He bought their screen. Their screen, mind you, was light gray. He bought their screen, and their screen literally matched the wall. I'm going to post those pictures, by the way. We got them on the account. We're going to post them. What the Valva really looks like on next to a white and gray screen. It's the same thing. It's literally the same thing. And they asked a lot of money for this screen. This screen's like $800 to $1,200 for this screen. And this screen is literally matching a eBay widescreen at $70. We'll post those. I forgot we had those on the account. Now we can post pictures. We can show you a lot of stuff you need to see. There's a lot of stuff you need to see. You're going to be shocked. But anyway, so for people saying on my channel, saying, well, Mr. Bird, how about you? What about you? What about you? We have 13,000 videos in test. I span back so far that if you go back and check my company under Digital and Crystal Screen Paint, you'll notice that none of these guys existed. Because they didn't. It was just us and some other people. That's basically about it. But none of these guys existed. They came all later on. I had the most black on black tests. I had the most tests on all my products. Every product I basically produced, you will see me out in the field getting it done. Right now, the new technology we have right now is the SFEG. That technology right there, there are demonstrations of me all over Allentown with a 300 lumen projector, a battery pack unit, which should be charged already, but I might have to be out today again, all over Allentown doing these videos everywhere. And what do I say on camera multiple times to people who make these products? What do I say? I say that you have to back the product up 100%. If I'm out there doing all those demonstrations, doing all these videos, doing all these uploads, and we say, well, he does 10, 12 videos. Yeah, we do 10, 12 videos a day. You know how much technology we engineer? When the guys said it's impossible for someone to do many videos, because you don't work. That's why. You don't work. If you had two scientists that are studying nuclear physics, and one only reads a small little pamphlet, and the other one reads a book, literally a book on nuclear physics, who's going to have more to write down when it comes to writing down for a presentation? The one who read the book, not the pamphlet, because he skipped over all this stuff. And that's what happened. You guys skipped over a lot of the stuff you're supposed to have. This is why when I go to your YouTube channel, I'm looking for certain tests I can't find. I'm like, where the frick are these tests at? There's no way in the world that this projector right here at 10,001 could not read a contrast off a gray screen. So usually when I see in demonstrations, people will try to get projectors that are more powerful than the ambient light in the environment. We're 24,000 in here. So keep in mind 24,000 in the ceiling versus a projector of 300 lumens. That is way off. That's, balance is way off. But it's supposed to be that way. That machine should be to operate with no problem. Most people with their products, they're going to get a 5,000, 6,000 lumen projector to try to deal with what's in that ceiling. And they're going to go near short throws or ultra short throws because the distance throw is going to get ripped up from going from A to B. The farther you're back from your screen, the more light you have in the environment, the less chance of your picture pulling up an image. So let me explain to what they don't do. This is what they never explain to you. When you do your distance throw, usually when you look at venue projectors that are used for commercial environments, because commercial environments have a lot of lighting in it, they'll use projectors like 7,000, 8,000, 10,000. This is why venues are using these environments. Why? Because they know they're not going to achieve the 7,000 or 10,000 that comes from the projector. It's not going to start, it's not going to end with 10,000. They're going to lose lumens in the process depending on how far the projector sits back. This is why when you see people doing demonstrations with ultra short throws all the time, it's because they're trying to basically eliminate the distance throw so that way they can keep more of their picture. It's kind of like the equivalence of trying to put out a forest fire with a bucket. So put it this way, if your bucket has 16 holes in it, ain't no water going to hit that forest fire. But if your bucket has one hole in it, you got a good chance of basically putting out something by the time you reach from A to B. And that's what happens with projectors. Now, see, that's why I don't explain this to you. They don't know what they're doing. So if your projector is sitting back 16 feet, you don't have to calculate exactly how much square inch you have in the environment of lighting and how bright the lighting is in the environment compared to the brightening you have that's coming off the projector. So if the lighting in the environment is overpowering what the projector can produce, that means you now have to go out and buy a projector with a much more higher lumen count or shorter distance throw in order to make sure your picture is going to pick up. Now say the screen requires a minimum of 2,000 and gain. 2,000 gain, about 2,000 lumens is required to get the picture to kick. You can have 7,000. You just have to make sure that 2,000 hits the screen, because that's what's going to cause the screen to kick. Now, it may not be the best picture in the world, and this is one of the mistakes I see when people are doing projection. They'll have an image hit, they'll see something on it, but it's not good. It's faded, it's washed out, it's dull, but they consider that to be an achievement because they can actually see it. When actually, no, it's not an achievement. The image has to come up crystal clear. It has to look the same way your cell phone does. This is a problem you're having with the technology you have today. So, at that distance throw, as they're traveling across, the lumen count is being shredded constantly. Mind, this is even worse when you're outside. So when you consider the fact that you just watched the screen at 50 lumens that was bathed in sunlight, put it through a screen that's transparent, come out the other end showing a blazing fireplace, that means that 50 lumens versus 120,000 lux of direct sunlight, there was nothing there. That technology has the ability to absorb sunlight and fuse it into gain, which you just watched in the demonstration. That's what we proved. Now, as I said before, this is why I use ultra short throws. This is why I see a lot of ultra short throws in demonstrations. Distance throw's not there. But here's the part that's crazy. Even though the distance throw's not there, you're at 3,000 lumens, less than a foot away from a screen. Why are they still in the dark? Why are ambient light projection screens, gray screens that claim to have ambient light projection, why are they in the dark? Because they're gray. And the gray screen can't read the contrast and can't read the color. Therefore, it picks up better if the environment's darker. Then what's the point of putting ambient light projection on if you can't even use it? You're getting ripped off. So, what the industry has tried to do to me is they tried to shut me down on every level you could possibly think of. Even some of them, of the trolls, going as far as attacking my family. Because they figured this will get me to break, this will get me to quit. You got the wrong person at the end of the day. We're Christians over here. We're servants of God. We don't kneel to the devil. We kneel to God. You got the wrong person. So we moved forward. And now look what's about to happen. My technology is about to blow up through the roof. I'm about to become a multi-millionaire. I am not even ready for that, to tell you the truth, honestly. And my goals of all that money we're going to achieve off that technology is to push it right back into the system. That's what I plan to do with mostly majority of it, because I don't need much, to tell you the truth. I'm a simple dude. You know, I don't really go for all that stuff. I do a lot of shopping off eBay. But anyway, so I'm planning to put money back into schools. I'm planning to put money back into different types of programs. I want to do a luxury comic book store. Kids should read comic books. Comic books are amazing. Everything down to the Archies, everything back up to Marvel, whatever. They should have that ability. I want discussion clubs in my comic books. Like, you know, they gotta, when they read these books, like you have a book club, you have a book club for comic books. They have that, you know. It'd be pretty cool. I want to do advanced arts in class. They have painting classes up here. I want painting classes with very low tuition. Very easy for these kids to get in and get schooling. I want home ec classes, because they got rid of that in school, which was actually a nice part, teaching kids how to balance their checkbook, stuff like that. Cooking. We have enough classes to teach kids how to cook and stuff like that. I definitely want to do a lot of art classes, a ton of art classes, sculpting, painting, all kinds of stuff. I want my own youth camp. I definitely want a youth camp. I want to teach kids that they can go out camping, fishing, the whole 9 yards, get them out of the inner city, bring them into the country. We got a lot of land up here that at the end of the day can be utilized for something better than that, especially teaching building skills. I want them to learn skills at an early age. This gives them a huge, massive advantage as they start to peer into the real world, that they have a skill set all ready to go. And I mean, I'll hire people that work with backhoes, construction, stuff like that. Can you imagine if you're a kid and you know how to work a backhoe at freaking 13 years old? Do you have any idea what your advancement level is going to be by the time you reach the age of 18? It'll be up there. That's the kind of stuff I want. Oh man, that's going to be awesome. So we're going to get this section of land. It's all designed just for digging. We're going to bring up machines up there. How many of these machines we're going to bring up there? Like bulldozers and all the cool stuff. Oh man, we're going to have them painted like Tonka trucks. I love Tonka. But anyway, so these kids can go up here with professionals and safety, yes, and learn how to operate these machines. Do you have any idea the skill set they're going to have by the time they reach 18? There you go. That's the whole point. It's to basically to educate the youth, to give them not only guidance, but to give them a skill set that they can use in the future that basically will guarantee them jobs. Also, too, push more jobs into the community. The more a company grows, the more we can basically offer jobs. I got this idea I want to do for an apartment complex. I never lived in an apartment complex. I did it one time. I'll never do it again, ever again. There were a lot of things I didn't like about it. A lot of things that could have easily made the building much more comfortable for other people. And one of the things I want to do is soundproof the floors, because good gracious, man, the upstairs neighbor is freaking merciless. But anyway, they got kids. Kids don't know. Kids just run around and they're kids at the end of the day. But to soundproof the floors, you have any idea how much that cuts down on hostility in a building? Because people get angry, they get mad, then the building becomes uncomfortable, because now you're going to bump into this person, may want to hurt you because you're going to upset and blah, blah, blah. Bunch of craziness, you know? You might want to play your music, right? It's interesting how that becomes so complex, because you pay for your rent, you should be able to play your music, right? But the person downstairs doesn't want to hear your music. They want to be quiet, and they may want to play their music with you. This is a headache. Soundproof the floors. That's it. You soundproof the floors, you soundproof the walls, it's quiet. Now, somebody may say, well, what happens if there's an emergency? That's why I love to have friends today who actually question everything that I do, because they help me. Emergency, which means we have a call button in there. The minute you hit that, dispatches 911, any for a paramedic unit, anything whatsoever, building staff, whatever, the whole 9 yards. So yeah, you're not just stuck in a queue where no one can hear you or anything whatsoever. But at least you have the peace of mind of quiet. Double pane windows, yes, or 3 pane windows, because again, they cut out on outside noise. Outside noise, somebody coming by with a system at the end of the day will disrupt your whole freaking day. Now, they don't know that they're basically traveling to your apartment, but basically to hear that absolute quietness is a peace of mind on so many levels, it's not even funny. You don't want to hear somebody outside your door. You can hear the entire record of music being played into your apartment. Another thing I want to do in these apartment complex, I'm investing in natural resources. I'm a big fan about hydroelectric energy, how to get power from other resources besides do it this way. It's free power. I mean, you're looking at the sunlight, you're thinking this is all free power. Water is free power. All this is free, but yet you pay for it. I've talked about this on my channel, water being the biggest scam on the face of the planet. It is the biggest scam, because you buy water. You literally, I bought water. I done it myself. You buy water, you buy jugs and jugs of water. You got the trucks delivering you water, but yet you have water running your pipes. And technically, you're not supposed to really bathe in that water because that water has all kinds of enzymes. It has all kinds of parasites in it. And people say, well, they clean the water. Yeah, they clean the water at the facility. Do you have any different how many pipes that stuff goes through before it reaches your destination? And mind you, unless they ripped up all the pipes in the city and put all new pipes in, which we know they haven't, then whatever is flaking off those pipes is basically traveling in your water, and you're drinking this stuff and washing out with it. And this is why people put water softeners in. So you put water softeners in it, and you put a filter systems in. So pretty much you are the water company, but you're paying them. That's why I started studying something called water harvesting, water filtration systems. People go off the grid. I started studying how they built these systems in order to run water, and their water is actually literally cleaner than yours. Yep. And it's a lot cheaper to do too, by the way. It used to be expensive back in the day. But that's what I want to do in my buildings. That's what I want to do. And right now I am working on a patent on a new form of system that actually is designed to harness and energy from water. That's what I'm working on. It's a project I'm working on, a little off the side stuff I do. So these buildings I'm working on have the ability to be able to power themselves from the sun. They have the ability to bring water in, and yes, we have backup reserve tanks just in case. That's why I'm happy to meet people in zoning so I can run all this stuff past them, see if their ideas are what I want to do. And these buildings we're going to put in, you have no utility bills at all. You don't pay anything. You have no bills. Internet's easy. We could pay for internet easy. So you got free internet. And not that cheap stuff, high-speed stuff, because I game all the time. That stuff would drive me nuts at the end of the day. So we only do high-speed only. So you have no bills. You have no internet. And your rent's only $600. That's it. Because why does the rent have to be $1,400, $1,500? Like, what the freak are you renting at the end of the day for the apartment to be so freaking expensive? That's insane. I've had houses that cost less than apartments today. I had a house that was 1,600. It was 1,600 square feet, somewhere around that 1,600 square. It was huge, and I only paid about $1,680 a month for it. You can't even get a one-bedroom apartment for that right now. That's insane. It's berserk how crazy rent has gone up. Houses are freaking crazy expensive. So we're going to charge for our unit $600. Now you think a $600 for apartment is going to be pretty small. It isn't hard to give somebody a nice, good-sized apartment. You should at least have average an apartment of 1,200 square feet. That's what you should have. You should have a full-size kitchen. How hard is it to put in a full-size kitchen? That's one of the things I noticed when I was looking at the apartment I was in. Really, like seriously, you can't put in some nice cabinets. Cabinets, not that cheap, gaudy, nasty cabinets like from 1970s. I want cabinets. I want something where I can see glass. If you don't want to put glass in because you're afraid your kids are going to break it or whatever, there's several different forms of cabinets that we can put in for you. That's the way it should be. You should have a kitchen that feels like a kitchen, and that's something that basically you're sitting in a prison system. I hated my kitchen. I hated it so much. I can't stand anything, the white ovens. I can't. Everything's when we put it in black because I like the futuristic stuff. The refrigerators are always too small. It's supposed to be, I like the big cubits, 37 cubit refrigerators. So you have a good sized refrigerator, plenty of food to put in for your kids and stuff like that. I do want to put in deep freezers in my units because, again, deep freezer is always helpful. You know what I mean? It saves the money because at the end of the day, you can stack it up with meat and whatever. And, we're going to have those automatically put in. Microwave ovens. I definitely want to put in a conventional oven. I like to bake myself. I treat people out that basically how I am at the end of the day. So all this stuff that we're putting in, it costs a lot of money. But at the end of the day, we're making more money than we need because the technology we literally engineer future-proofs us forever. When I pass off this earth, it's still be making a ton of money, and that ton of money, since I don't want to have a huge overhead, which I don't want to have a huge overhead, and I'm not really into spending money for a lot of expensive stuff. That's not me. I'm just going to push it back to people who need it better. So beautiful luxury apartments. I like for a bathtub. This is me. I'm personally building this thing about what I like at the end of the day. I like good stuff. So I'm not putting in some cheap, dinky bathtub at the end of the day. I'm going to bathroom with some cheap, dinky bathtub. I don't. I like the infinity tubs. Those things are sick at the end of the day. I'm going to put some really nice bathtubs in there. I think some of the other ones we might put infinity tubs in, but we're going to put some nice bathtubs in. It's really beautiful. I like the bear claw tubs, the old-fashioned ones. Those I like. Those are beautiful right there. So I'm going to pick out some nice bathrooms, nice granite floors, good gracious, that cheap freaking tiles. This is what I'm talking about. They put less into the apartment and charge you more. You should have bookcases in there, built-in bookcases, What's the problem with having? How hard is it to put in a built-in bookcase? Like really, with beautiful lighting. Not hard to do at all whatsoever. Period. All outlets are supposed to be breakers. I moved in places where you have two prong. Two prongs to me is not grounded. You run the risk of burning out your hardware. So no, that's gone. And since we developed our technology for screens, all units will have projectors with screens installed, because we make that stuff at the end of the day. Why not? They'll be in the kids' room, they'll be in your room, whatever. Since our screens don't require expensive projectors, we can literally do the entire building. We can put these screens in your kids' room, so they got their own projection set up. Of course, we'll probably put these in instead because they're smaller. We can link them to the ceiling. They don't generate a lot of heat, so these will be perfect for them. We can install them in your kitchen, because mind you, we got that technology that absorbs anywhere it wants to go. So we can wire that entire place with that technology. Kids will get a kick out of it. So they'll have like a 100-inch screen to game on their gaming room, stuff like that. You know what I mean? You can have them in the kitchen. We can put them in the backyard, whatever. But when we're doing like an apartment, we do want to have an area we can go at. I want a Zen garden, something nice. People can go down and sit, relax, very quiet. That's what we want. And to make sure that we don't have too much sound transferring through. You ever seen those concrete walls that they put in? Basically to block sound. That's what we're installing in, because it'll block any sound around it. On top of that, with the hedges and bushes we're putting in like a little garden, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference if they're there or not. So that's the kind of stuff I like to work on. You know what I mean? And that's what people need. They need, when they go to their apartment, they need a place that they can go to that separates them from the real world. Because, you know, you work at your job and you got to go through the headache of that. You want to come home. You don't want to go home with someone blasting their stereo over top of you or someone screaming in the hallway. Now, keep in mind, rules and regulations on this. I'm a person about the rules. We give you 2 warnings in your terminator. That's it. We got to put rules in place. And I think anyone paying $600 a month is not trying to mess that up at all, period. Keep in mind, the month of December, all rent is free. That's our Christmas gift to you. You don't pay any rent in December. That's the hardest thing for people to do in December, is to pay that rent. You got to turn, got to buy gifts and toys and this coming up, and then you got New Year's Eve coming up, and your bills are stacking up, and you got utilities to pay, and then you got rent coming up, you got car payments and all that stuff. You ain't got to worry about that. Number one, you ain't got no utilities. They're not there. You don't pay for internet. That's not even there. You don't have to worry about rent, because that's not going to be there for the month of December. So take that extra money and do something else with it. Now, how would that affect my company? For some of my investors at the end of the day saying, well, that's absolutely crazy. You wouldn't make any money. We make money. You know how much technology we engineer? Like, we make money on all that technology. Ad tech does so much stuff, it's not even funny. Ad tech can be broadcasted in Windows. It can go anywhere it wants to go. You know how much money that technology is worth? It's worth billions of dollars. It's worth a lot of money. Now, if you're out there trying to get a bunch of boats and you're trying to have a lot of fancy, who the freak needs 20 houses? You're not going to live in 20 houses. You're just doing that for just to show off. Who needs 9 cars at $500,000 a piece? That's insane. That's way too much money. I mean, to each his own. What you want to spend, I don't see it that way. For me, I buy, my sneakers, it cost me $50. They'll still cost me $50. I make a good amount of money. And I don't spend that kind of money in the day, because I really don't care. I'm not that type of person at the end of the day. I rather believe in taking my money and giving it back to other people to help them out. I carry $20, $30 on me, just in case if I bump into somebody didn't eat that day, I can feed them. So I really don't care about all that stuff. Mind you, at the end of the day, you have to understand the real story about money and everything involved with it. You can't take it with you. You're not taking any of this with you. You can try to accumulate as much as you want on the earth. I can never understand the greed. I don't get it. You have more money than you could ever have in your entire life, and yet you need more. That's insane. That's like trying to fill a bucket with more water. It's not going to take any more. It's just going to spill outside the bucket and become wasted. Why do you have to have so much money? Why do you be so greedy? Why don't you just take that money you're making and redirect it someplace else so other people can help other people out? So even the money we even get back from the tax returns for the donations that we put out, that money is designed to be redirected back into diseases to help other people out, cancer research, all that stuff. That money goes right back into the system. I look at life as this way. Life is a giant spaghetti strainer. When you pass off this earth, you go through that spaghetti strainer. Guess what gets left behind? All your worthy possessions will be left behind. You know who sits around a spaghetti strainer? Your loved ones, your friends, and all that. They're waiting to grab your stuff. But the crazy thing about it is, as they're grabbing your stuff, They have to realize that them themselves will also go to the same unit, and their items will be treated the same way. Your stuff is just going to be picked apart and sorted out and just used until the time comes that they have to go to the spaghetti strainer. You don't take anything with you. I've never seen a U-Haul truck behind a funeral line. Never saw one. And you don't become obsessed with the things on this world. And when you become obsessed with things in the world, this is when you read in the Bible, it says, put no God before me. It doesn't have to be a statue. Money can become your God. Clothes can become your God. Food can become your God. Anything. Video games can become your God. Anything you put before God. That's why we don't chase God. We don't chase money. We chase God. It's the only way to go. So these are our goals. Our goals is to keep developing better technology, expose those into the light so you can see what they are. Continue to push forward and using our technology to help other people to put money back into the community. And when you see people that are attacking us, this is Satan. This is what I see. I see Satan. I'm going to tell you up front. A long time ago, yeah, I'm an inmate. A long time ago, I got myself in trouble. As a kid, 16 years old, got in trouble out there running the streets, carrying to do what I want to do. My mother was a very hard, good Christian woman. She tried so hard to try to turn me to become a Christian. I didn't want no part of it at all, period. I thought all Christians were cult members. I thought they were just a waste of time. It's just all a cult. It's a game, a scam, whatever it was. That's what I believed at the end of the day, even though I was raised in a Christian family. But I got caught up in them streets and it changed my way I saw things. And I went through some stuff, man. I had to go through some stuff. God was calling me. Either one way or another, I was going to be in line. He was calling me. So I went out there. I did all the crazy stuff, man. Got in all the trouble you could possibly think of under the sun. And long story short, it caught up to me. And that day came. I remember sitting there watching TV. And my dog started barking. I'll never forget that day. As long as I live, I looked up on the porch. There's a bunch of officers. There's about 4 officers on the porch. And there were some other units on the porch waiting for me. So I opened up the door. They said, "You Kenneth Bird?" And I said, "Yes, I am." "Well, I'm going to run." I'm pretty sure they had the house surrounded, so there's no way in the world I was getting out of there. That many people were sitting on the porch. I'm pretty sure they were at the back door too. And I was not wrong, because when I went into the paddy wagon, I saw them up, down, one side of the block, other side of the block. I ain't going to explain to you what I did. I didn't kill anybody. This is just some destructive stuff. Anyway, bottom line is, my prison time was my prison time I was supposed to get was a 40 to 80 year maximum setting. 80 was maximum, 40 was the minimum they were going to give me at 16 years old. They were trying to certify me as an adult when I turned 18. So my 18th birthday wasn't spent basically going out and hanging out with your friends and celebrate being a man and all that. No, my 18th birthday was to fight to keep from doing a 40 to 80 year prison sentence, which, again, at the end, they had one of these top DAs they brought in, because I was an open and shut case. They raided my place, of course, and they found all the evidence, everything they needed. So they had everything there. They would convict me. And I knew I was gone. I knew it was it. I know it's gone. I messed up. I messed my entire life up. I'm going to die in the prison system. This is how it's going to be. And then at that time, I'm sitting in a prison cell, and I remember there was a guy sitting across from me. I told you story before. There's new subscribers. It's for you. And this guy basically was talking to another man. I saw the prison guard walking back and forth. I was in the holding over at the police station. And I remember my mom coming in. She gave me a Bible. She gave me a Bible with an orange cover and gold writing on it. She signed it. And she said, "Read from Psalms." Because I didn't know anywhere to read from the Bible. I didn't read the Bible at all. So I didn't know where to start. She told me to read from Psalms. Psalms will help me, build me, and make me stronger. So I started reading from that Bible. But before I even got a chance, the next cell over, the guy who he was talking to just stopped. He just paused. Like somebody put him in freeze mode. And that guy turned around and spoke to me. It was the devil having a conversation with me. And the devil sat there and said to me, "That book can't help you. You might as well throw it away. Your life is over." That's literally what he said to me. Now, mind you, he wasn't even speaking in the voice that this guy was talking. This guy had kind of a nerdy kind of voice, like a Steve Urkel kind of voice. This guy had a very deep, dark voice when he was talking to me. When that officer came back in, he went back to talking. The other guy came unfroze and he was speaking, whatever. I've seen that one before. I've seen that. I told you, when I got out and I got baptized and became a Christian, I seen demons for 2 months. And I saw exactly that, where that hypnotic kind of transition where they were just stuck and they start speaking to you. And they can freeze time. Hey, mind you, they're fallen angels. They have special abilities. Not more powerful than God, but they do have very interesting abilities. Not the kind you want to mess around with. But anyway, so I held the Bible close. That was my crossroad. My crossroads, I could have taken that Bible and flushed it down the toilet, or I could have basically accepted God as my Lord and Savior, and that's what I did. I accepted God as my Lord and Savior. Mind, at that particular point, I was in suicide mode, because at that particular time, I realized I messed up my life, and there's no way to get out of this situation but death. I'm not doing 40 years in prison. I'm not doing 80 years in prison. They're going to have to kill me. So I'm psyching myself up to run to the judge so they can basically shoot me. That's what I'm actually hyping myself for death. So my mom came in just in time, because that's what I was planning to do, and all that stopped. I had a way out. God gave me a way out of it. So when I got into the system, they brought in their DA, and the DA was talking all this stuff in court, and I was scared to death because, man, everything he was mentioning in court, I did. I was guilty of all of it. And I remember when I told you guys in the day how you're going to feel, I know. I went through it myself. I did it myself. The heart rate's at 100 miles an hour, the cotton mouth, the fingers trembling, the legs trembling. You know, you'd be praying for heart attacks in there. You'd be praying to die in that situation. You pray for it because you're scared. You don't know what's going to happen. These people are deciding your fate of your life. Even though you messed up and you deserve to be there, they're deciding the fate of your life. You look out that window, man, and you see those trees blowing back and forth and see those birds flying by, and you wish with all your heart that you can just transform into one of those birds and fly away from this nightmare. But you can't. You have to face life. You did this, you have to go through the trial. So, bit by bit, every time I went back, I read that Bible. I became stronger and stronger and stronger. And when I came in, the judge noticed that, you know what, he doesn't even cry anymore. Yeah, I was crying every day in there. You're talking about, I'm 16 years old. You're talking about 40 years minimum. And the next would have been 80 years. I was guaranteed to get to 80. I was guaranteed to get to 80 years. 40 years is a joke they were telling me about that. I was going to get 80 years. So I'm thinking, man, this is crazy, man. I messed it all up. So as I started praying more and more, I stopped crying when I went to court. I wasn't scared anymore. And the reason why I wasn't scared anymore because I found God. There's nothing they could do to me at the end of the day. I was not scared anymore. I confessed my sins to God. He gave me forgiveness for what I did to him and all the things I did to other people. And I got my forgiveness. I was ready to move on. Whatever they gave me, I was good with it, 100%. So, I didn't have an attitude I was better than I was humble. I was good with anything they gave me because I knew God had my back. Whatever was going to happen, I was going to go to prison, God had my back. I ain't worried about it. So, when at one point, I remember Mom telling me that the DA was telling my mom, we got your boy. They're going to do 80 years. I'm not even looking to give him 40. We're going to give him maximum. We're going to give him 80 years. And my mom said, no, you got my boy in all, yes, but he ain't doing no 80 years. He ain't coming anywhere near that until the day. My Lord says he's going to go do so and so and so. And then he laughed about it. Did you know that every time they brought me to court, they couldn't convict me? They tried everything. They couldn't convict me. The judge wouldn't do it. Now, you know, sometimes if a person is a part of someone else's life, and especially when they're Christian, they see visions at night. They see visions in their dreams. The Lord telling them, no, you're not going to do this. It's not going to happen. They'll see visions, and they'll come back and go, you know what? There's something different about this guy at the end of the day. And that's how I was treated. I was treated as if I was something different. When they put me in that holding cell, I was never put in the holding cell with other inmates. I was put in my own holding cell by myself every single time. Every guard that walked past me treated me as if I was, I don't know, like I was a different person. Like I wasn't even an inmate. They treated me differently. God's people get favor. They do. And you got to remember, you can't come off high and mighty because God sees that nonsense. You know, keep it humble. I was just praising the Lord the entire time, thanking him for putting me in that situation, for allowing me to see his works at the end of the day. So, when I went back in, my mom came and said, you're not going to believe what happened? And I was like, what happened? He said, the DA is over there praying with us. So the DA that was supposed to be prosecuting me is now seeing God. He's seeing the power of God. And now he's over there talking about how his life needs God at the end of the day. So now the DA is praying with them. So the DA said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give him 10 years. I'd take 10 years any day of the week. At least 10 years. I got some time to get out and do some stuff at the end of the day. At least, you know what I mean? I'll take 10 years. And my mom came back, they're going to give you 10. I said, yes, I'll take 10, I'll take 10, I'll take 10. So, 10 with a chance to get out on good behavior. Now, I had already done 8 years and 9 months in. By then, I've gotten used to being in there. It's just the way it is. So I'm used to it now. And I never expected to get out. I was never told I was being released that day. I get up in the morning, take my shower, you know what I mean? Go hang out in the yard with my friends and stuff. Go back, play some cards and stuff, go eat, whatever. I didn't think I was going home that day. No one told me nothing at all. Nothing came up. So that afternoon, when I was going in back to the cell, the guard came up and said, "Get your stuff." And I said, "Get my stuff." I'm thinking, like, what's going on? I'm thinking I'm being transferred to another unit. Now I'm being transferred to the unit without my people. I'm like, oh shoot, I'm going on to the other side or whatever's going to happen. And so I said, where am I being transferred to? You're not being transferred, you're being released today. I was like, what? You know how much shocker that is to blow through your brain when something says you're being released? You're like, you can't process that. That's so hard to process. It's not, you're excited and happy, but then in the back of your mind, you're thinking, nah, this is a trick. It's just messing with my head. This is a trick. This can't be real. There's no way in the world walking out of this building. I've been here for like 8 years or 9 months. I've been here for a long time. There's no way in the world walking out that building. But it did happen. I did walk out the building. So, going through the process, getting all my stuff back and, looking around. Last time I see this place. It's almost like home because I spent a long time here. I met a lot of people there while I was there. So, it's like home because you've been there. A good chunk of your life was there. And as I walk out the door, first time stepping out there, yes, I went out and hugged a tree. I hugged a tree, I put my hand in the dirt, touched the grass, I smelled it, all that. Couldn't believe I was actually free. Man, I said, you never forget that feeling as long as you live. And you know who got me there? God did. He's the one. Because when a crossroad came up, I chose God. And that's the reason why I was out there hugging a tree, putting my fingers in the grass and smelling it. My mom thought I had lost my mind. And look at it, he done went crazy in there. Now I'm outside. Last time I touched a tree, man, crazy. And the thing about it is when they were transferring me back and forth to court, and for a split second, we come out that truck, I can see, like left to right to me, I can see things around me. You know that's crazy thing about it? That particular sidewalk that I walked over to walk into that courtroom, I walked past that sidewalk hundreds of times as a free man. That's what blows my mind. It's weird how you can walk over a path multiple times, and every time you walk over that path, your situation in your life changes. 1 minute you could be free, 1 minute you're not free. 1 minute you could be poor, 1 minute you could be rich. It's just crazy. It's the same pathway, but the pathway changes depending on how your life is basically being structured and how it's being directed. And there's some of the things, deep thoughts that have popped up in my head that I crossed this walk 100 times. Going to South Street to hang out with some friends, going to the movies, going to meet somebody for a date. And here I am now crossing the same path again in shackles. Probably never to do it ever again. Now, years later, I'm out playing hockey with my friends. I'm out there skating back in the city, and I crossed that path. I just stopped this time because now it's different for me. And I look down that corridor, and I see the courthouse, and I see where the inmates go through. But this time, I'm a free man this time. But yeah, I kept my word with God. Sorry if I tear up a little bit about this big piece of my history of my life and that, where I found God. I got baptized on the first Sunday as agreed. I gave the Lord my promise. First Sunday, I'm going to get baptized. I didn't go back and party with anybody. Nope. I went to McDonald's. I got myself a cheeseburger. I got myself some fries, milkshake, apple pie. I was dying for McDonald's. And got back home. Of course, my family and friends and all that. And I went upstairs in the bedroom, and I shut the door, and I sat in the dark. Why? Because it was quiet. Because you hear that all day long, the slamming. There's doors, the yelling, the screaming. You hear everybody's business. Remind you're in a cage. Just to be in that room and hear nothing at all was the best sound I've ever heard in my entire life. You go through the whole transition process. You think you have nightmares when you're in there, that you're home. When you're home, you have nightmares you're back in. Kept telling the judge, I'm free, I'm a free man. And the judge's like, no, you got 30 more years to do. And I wake up and I'll be in my room. I'm like, what in the world just happened? That went on for a while. You go back to the phone booth and you go back and call your friends at the holding facility, see what they're doing, all that, because you miss them at the days, your buddies and friends you spend a long time with. But then later on, as you travel in life, that all fades away and you start moving on to your own path. And you forget all that. Sometimes it pops in your head from here to there, but then you forget all that. And yeah, I stuck and kept in with the church. So I went through some stuff even as a Christian. I went through homeless. I went through ravishing through trash cans. I went through being hungry because I followed the devil and I got obsessed with money. And I dropped my cross for some money and ended up spending 4 years wandering. 4 years trying to figure out how to fill the empty void in my chest and my heart at the end of the day that the Lord brought to me that items couldn't replace. That's why I don't chase items. I don't care about this stuff. Because I spent 4 years of my life trying to replace what was missing that I had with God. I see the people across the street at the church, and I mean, they were happy and talking. I couldn't get that because the devil wouldn't let me. Every time I tried to cross the street to get that, the devil would point me in a different direction. You know, you don't need that at the end of the day. You got money, you got money, you got money. You ain't worry about that because you got money, you got money, you got money. Who needs all that? You got money. But the money wasn't doing anything. Cause I'll buy something and then I'll be happy for a little bit and then that depression come back. And then I gave it away. I gave away most of the stuff, the money I made, I gave it away because I couldn't be happy. So that didn't work. And then one day, my mom got tired of my crap at the end of the day and she left. And I went back home to an empty house where nobody was in there. I just had my stuff in there. So I took all my possessions, took them down to a guy down the street who bought people stuff in the neighborhood, sold it off, got a few $100, and I had no place to go. So, I mean, I sat out in the park. Now, mind you, when I was out there doing all that chaos and destruction of the day, I hurt my family. I hurt a lot of my family members. And I'm not physically, I hurt them. They didn't trust me at all. They didn't trust that I changed. They looked at me as the same evil person I was when I was in those streets. So a lot of them wouldn't allow me to come into their homes. They didn't trust me. So I had nobody. It was me out there by myself. So I stayed out there on the street as long as I possibly could. And then when the time came, I couldn't take it anymore. I contacted my sister. She is a church woman, and she gave me trust. She brought me in. So I traveled all the way down to Delaware, and I slept on her sofa for about a couple of weeks. And, you know, got myself back with God. But I lost everything. That's how I got my religion back. Because all that money I had and I was carrying on, and didn't save none of it for jack. Because I spent it as fast as I got it. Because, you know, I was doing, you do dumb stuff. But anyway, I realized that the Lord was blessing me. All that was a blessing. Me losing everything, me being out there on that park bench, that's a blessing from God. All of it was a blessing. Because it took away the one thing that was causing me to lose my salvation. And I lost all that, and pretty much I got my life back. So I came back, got myself a nice little job washing busting suds here and there. And I acquired a little rented room that I stayed in, and I worked my way up to where I am now. But this time I learned a valuable lesson. I learned the valuable lesson: never ever drop your cross for money. Don't drop your cross for anything. Hold on to that cross as much as you possibly can, because Satan's going to sit there and try to take that cross out of your hand. If you don't have that cross, you're in a lot of trouble. You're in a lot of trouble if you don't have that cross in your hand. When you got that cross in your hand, the devil's going to try to reach out for you. He's going to tear at your clothes. He's going to try to take it from you. Look at football as being a Christian. The guy who's running with the ball is running for his dear life. The people that are behind him are the devil. Now, they're not in the way that way, but just it's a way of seeing it. And that ball he's holding is his salvation. And the goal line is heaven. He's going to run as hard as he can. He's going to fight as hard as he can. He's not going down. He's going to make it across that finish line, and he is going to be able to get his salvation. You're fighting for your salvation. You're fighting to get to Jesus. That's what you're doing. Oh, I saw what you did, demon. I saw what you did. I pay you no mind. I don't. I'll tell you why. We have people come into the room that are these people who serve the devil. And they come in here with the intentions to cause trouble. That's what they do. So we see you, Satan. We see you. And when you look at me, you say, well, I'm not. Yes, you are. You are the devil. You serve him. You don't serve God. To give me a like and take away from it doesn't do anything to me. It's not going to make me angry. I know who you are. I know what you are. You're the devil. And the problem you have at the end of the day is the fact that the very person who tells you to do these things is the very person who's every day plotting to figure a way how to get you off this planet as fast as he can. Because you're going to hear me talk about that, subscribers. You're going to hear me talk about Jesus. You're going to hear me warning you at the end of the day that the one that tells you to do these evil things is the one who's planning to take your life. You are no good to Jesus here. No good to the devil here. You're worthless here. Because here, you become like me. What if you get saved? What if you become a man of God? Then the devil lost you. All that time he invested in getting you to do the most dumbest stuff he could possibly think of on the face of the planet to try to get you killed while you're here, and you ended up getting saved and he loses you, oh, that is going to upset him big time. So he's got to figure a way how to get you off this planet or waste enough of your time while you're here, because mind you, you're not here on your own time. You're here on God's time. Name one person that comes back to life. Now, some people have got the blessing to come back to life, but not by will. Not by your own will, you don't come back. God's will, you're able to come back. So, consider the fact that if you're blessed to be fine, any Christian who gets blessed, the devil hates it. He is out there screaming and yelling and upset because he used to have you, didn't have you. Now, if he's able to keep you occupied by things on this planet, you know, women and all this crazy. I'm not saying just women, but men too and all that stuff. Keep you occupied on the things of this planet. Make them your God at the end of the day. Make you worship those things and bow for those things. Then he knows that your time here is going to be short. He already knows this. He knows you're not going to be here forever. You have to leave this planet one way or another. He knows it. So either figure out how to kill you or waste your time enough that your time will run down and you will never get saved. And then he's got you. So when I see you do acts like that, that doesn't bother me. That's the devil telling you that it's going to bother me, and that's why you do it, because you think it's going to bother me. But it's not. What makes me feel sad for you at the end of the day is that where you're going. If you don't get your act together, you will go to the lake of fire. You'll be in there and you will burn for eternity, forever. There's no crease in there. And it speaks, like I said in the Bible, about the worm eating your flesh. And it says, or a place where the worm can't die. You're going to be in absolute, extreme, horrific pain beyond anything you could ever imagine. And this will be eternity, forever. Does that sound like someplace you want to be at? It's not a place I want to be at. So that's why when I come on my channel, yes, I'm going to talk about equipment. We're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about that. And I'm going to talk about God as much as I possibly can, because it needs to be out there. I imagine if my mom finally got tired of me and said, you know what, let him rot in prison. You know, imagine what would have happened to me if my mom didn't come down and give me that Bible. What would have happened to me in that place? You can imagine it. I wouldn't be here having this conversation with you right now. I would have killed myself. God didn't allow that to happen at the end of the day. One of the things I like to say on my channel, I got some things I got to take care of, is the fact that you're able to get up today. Even get up today to do the devil's work. The day that you're allowed to get up. You know where that blessing comes from? It's not your free will that you have the ability to wake up the next day. The reason why you have the ability to wake up the next day, because God gives you that reason to wake up the next day. You don't have to. How do you protect yourself when you sleep? You can't. Bigger question, what is watching you when you sleep? You know, demons walk into houses. It doesn't make a difference if you have security system. That don't mean nothing. It's a fallen angel. It goes where it wants to go. The only where it can't go wants to go unless your house is guarded by God. It's not walking in there. There's no way in the world. It's crazy. They're not that crazy. Even when Jesus was walking among the earth, they recognized who he was. They're like, what the heck are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here right now. Wait a minute. You got an agreement here. You're not supposed to be here. There's only a certain amount of time when you're supposed to come back. What are you doing here? Even they didn't know he was coming back. They had no idea Jesus was going to be walking on the planet, on the earth. They knew that there's going to be a battle of Armageddon. They knew that the devil and God were going to fight. They think they're going to win that. And that's why they were shocked to see Jesus. They're like, wait a minute, is that Jesus Christ? And I'm like, you can't see that. They can see him. That's Jesus Christ over there. What's he doing here? He's not supposed to be here. It's not the time yet. Like, come on. Now, even guys, what I find interesting about that part in the Bible. What I find interesting part in the Bible, is the fact that God can't lie. God can't even go against his own word. You know that? Can you imagine having untold power, beyond untold power, and you can't even go against your own word? You know how credible that is at the end of the day? If God went against his own world, we're not here anymore. He can just sit there and go, you know what? I'm tired of it. Poof, we're going. That's it. Thanos us in a minute. We're going. He can't go against his own word. So that's why the demons were sitting there yelling at Jesus like, hey, wait a minute. No, wait a minute. He's supposed to come back at a certain time. You're not supposed to be. Why are you even here? He began like, what's going on here? You know, and he told him to be quiet. He told him to be quiet and go. You know what they did? They were quiet and went, it's none of your business. I'm here because I need to be here. Now, I need you to be quiet and go. Did they argue with him? No, they left. This is how backwards Satan is. If you think you're angry at Jesus because he's here before the time that man is supposed to go for the battle of Armageddon, and you feel that you have the power to beat God, then why is it when God tells you to leave, you leave? That you don't argue with him, that you fear him and run? Shouldn't that tell you at the end of the day, this is a war you won't win? But the devil's like that. He thinks regardless. And it's funny because you see the stupidity in that right there, that the demons ran from Jesus when he spoke, but they really believe that they're going to win this war, which is the same thing the devil does to people every single day, that he tells you that you're going to be to do this, that, and the other, when technically you're not going to be to do that and the other. You're just basically going to lose that war. That's what's going to happen. Better find God, people. You better find God. I told you, look. Devil's job, the demon that whispers in your ear, and it's not just the devil. We think, oh, it's just a devil. No. It's just legion. Legion. People do that thing, says, we are legion, we are many. You know where that comes from? That's the devil. The devil speaks that. The devil says, we are legion, we are many. And the reason why is because that's what fell from heaven. There were a legion of angels decided they were going to overthrow God and take over heaven, and it didn't work out the way they thought it did. They got cast out of heaven. So when these things are among this earth walking among you, they are not the devil. It's not one person. The devil is a leader of this pack, yes, but there are other demons behind him that serve the devil. And there are legions of them, a lot of them. So I don't want you to go back and look at The Exorcist. Stay away from that movie. I really suggest you to do that because you invite very evil things into your home. But in The Exorcist, it did speak its name. And mind, The Exorcist is based off a true story. That actually did happen to someone. But yeah, it did speak its name. When the preacher asked him, who are you? It did speak what his name was. You should never ever use that name, by the way. Ever. Not ever. Because you don't know what you may call and invite into your home. But anyway. So, yeah, you're being watched every day. Every day. Every single day. I see it this way. As I told you before, the devil's going to try to kill you. He's going to try to run your time down here or try to kill you either way. When I tell you that you're being watched every day, imagine every time you leave your home, you can't see it, but imagine if you could see it. You just look across the street and you just see these scaly like demons sitting right across the street, just a bunch of them just watching you. Would you leave out your door? No, you wouldn't leave out your door. You'd probably grab your Bible and start praying, your heart be racing at 100 miles. You can probably trying to understand what you just saw at the end of the day. But yet, you allow that to talk to you every day. The girl from The Exorcist, right? That frightening sight, right? Terrifying, horrible, frightening sight. Would you be comfortable with something like that sitting in your home, around your kids? Would you be comfortable being friends with something like that? Heck no. That's the most terrifying thing you ever seen in your entire life. Why would you even want something that around you? But you let that talk to you every day and tell you things you should not be doing. So, what I find interesting is that when these demons sit across the street, even though you can't see them, they're everywhere. They're everywhere. They sit on buses with you, they're in restaurants, they're everywhere out there. And so are God's angels are out there too also. That when they see you when you walk out the door, they see those who have a burning cross in their forehead, which are those that are Christians, which are follow behind them are angels. And they see those people who are walking out the door and you have no crosses. And those are the ones they sit with, and those are the ones they come see. At nighttime and in the morning, even in the morning, they travel in the morning. I've seen them in the morning. They'll go from door to door to door, looking in windows and doors, trying to figure out how to get in there, how to cause chaos and destruction and hatred in your home. Because you have no guards out there to protect you. And Jesus is not sitting outside your home. Why would Jesus be there? If you're sitting in your home and carrying on and acting out, why would God want to be in that situation? That's why you need Jesus when you're out. We're talking about putting on the whole full armor of God before you walk out the door. Because your adversary, the devil, is lurking back and forth to see you. He may devour. So, yes, on my channel, I talk about God. It's very important we talk about God on my channel. And there's no way in the world I'm going to sit here and not talk about Jesus. There's no way in the world I'm going to sit here and not tell you about that you need to get saved, you need to find God. Mind you, you're not promised to live here forever. You don't know if you're going to come home. You don't know if you're going to wake up the next day. It's not guaranteed. You may tell yourself, I'm going home, but anything can happen in that process. You're not guaranteed. And you got to think about this. This is the most important thing to think about. Every day you get up, that is your blessing. That is your blessing when you get up in the morning. God has blessed you. Doesn't make a difference. You're blessed because at least it can be worse. You cannot wake up at all. And if you don't wake up at all and you have not got your papers in order, you will meet the one that speaks to you. Either you'll meet God or you'll meet the other one. You don't want to meet the other one. Trust me, for the first, when I came out of lockup, and when I told you I followed deeply with the devil, I followed deeply with the devil. So much to the point that at one point in my life, I got possessed. I heard things. I know things. I've seen things. At the end of the day, things that a normal person would not have seen before. I was that close to it. And yeah, no, it's gone. It's gone. It's cast out of me. But I tell you, I've seen things that you will never understand. You have no idea that you are not alone in this world. You're not. And you need God. If you saw the things that I saw today, you need God. You need to run into a church and fall before a preacher and beg for forgiveness and get saved, because you have no idea what is out there waiting for you. You're worrying about that big bad guy across the street trying to be the tough man in the neighborhood. You got a bigger problem than that right now. You got somebody that knows everything about you. You can lock all your doors. You can get pit bulls in front of you. You can get guns. It doesn't make a difference. You cannot stop it if it decides to come for you. There is nothing you can do. You cannot protect your kids. You cannot protect your family. You can't protect yourself. You cannot protect yourself against Satan. All you have in your life is Jesus. If you don't find God, it's going to come for you every single day, and it's going to figure a way how to take your life. Mind you, when you leave out that door, you are not guaranteed to come back. If it's my time to leave off this earth, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to see my Lord. I'm ready to see Jesus. How are you protected when you walk out that door? What is following you when you? Who's sitting next to you when you eat at a restaurant? Who's laying next to you when you go to sleep at night? What is sitting outside your door watching you every day? That's what you have to worry about. That's why you need to find God at the end of the day. You need to find God. And then yet, do all the stuff that you do. Get up in the morning, do dumb stuff. I got up in the morning, did a lot of dumb stuff. I do dumb stuff now, and I have to go to Jesus and ask for forgiveness. Every day is a blessing from God. Every day that you get a chance to get up and go out and walk out the door and get something with her, it's a blessing from God, because it doesn't have to happen that way. The very breath that comes out of your mouth right now, your very heartbeat that's happening right now, is the reason it's a blessing from God. What do you do with his blessing at the end of the day? Do you go out and take his blessing and go out and curse others and carry on and act up and do all the awful things of life? That's what you do with the very blessing that God has given you. The very breath that you have in your mouth right now that allows you to speak the evil things that you say, you take that blessing and do that with it? And for people who say, what about me? I did all that stuff. That's why I'm preaching it now. I've done all that stuff. I've done all that evil stuff. Wake up every day and get a blessing from God. Every day get a blessing from God. Get a blessing from God. What do I do with God's time? What do I do with it? Go out there and do a bunch of dumb stuff. That's what I did with it. Went out there and did a whole bunch of dumb stuff. That's what I did with God's time. And through all that I did against God, he still saved me. That's why I owe him. I owe him everything. Everything. I owe him everything. And there's no way I can thank him until I see his face. Well, I got to go take care of some business today. I want to talk about later on, not today, I won't talk about anything today. Going to be going to the museum again. I want to check out that art exhibit again. It was beautiful. Tiffany's window, beautiful display of art. I can't wait to go back in there at the end of the day. Oh, you're even hooked up to this thing. Probably not. But anyway, if you're not a person who likes to hear about God, it bothers you, this is not the channel for you. If you don't want to be about Jesus, it's not the channel for you. At all, period. Because I talk about God a lot in my channels. I do. And as you see on my website, it says powered by God's technology. Because all our technology came from God. Everything we have here, my PCs, Everything I have, all this comes from God. Everything. I give all praise to Him. All our technology, everything we're blessed to have comes through God, and basically God gets all the glory for it. You know, people sit there and say, oh, this, you know anything about my life? You know nothing about my life. You know how much money I've given up in my life? I gave up millions and millions of dollars for my technology. Gave it up. I had so many people contact me on my stuff at the end of the day on wanting to basically do business with me. I refuse to do business with them. And they know exactly what kind of person I am today. When I first started off, they figured I was some kind of gullible guy. They knew who I am now. I won't do business with them. And the reason why is because God comes first. I had a guy contact me about basically investing in millions of dollars into my company, and they're going to pay me a lot of money. What are you up to, Mr. Bounty Man? They're going to pay me a lot of money. A lot of money. Like $6 million. A lot of money. And I met this guy on Facebook. He was going through my channel. And he was looking at some of the stuff I was working on. It was none of this stuff yet. But anyway, they wanted to invest. And he said he had some friends of his that they're going to, they want to talk in a nice little conference call. So I was like, oh, this is great. You know, they make $1 million, make a lot of money. You know what I mean? It's be fantastic. So I went in and met him at first. We talked a little bit back and forth. And then I went in and met with the others. So we have one here. I met with the others. So I met with the others, and we're having this nice little talk back and forth. And they asked me, where in the world did I get the idea to be able to do this? And I said, I got it from God. That's where it came from. The ability to be able to do this all came from God. Now, they felt that was kind of funny. They felt that was hilarious. They sat there and said, no, I don't think so. I don't think you got that ability to do this from God. I think you did it yourself. You might have got a little inspiration, that's basically about it. And they started laughing about it. Now, you insulted my Savior in the day. So, I said, you know what? I'm done with this conversation. What the heck is that? I'm done with this conversation. I hung the phone up. Now, who in their right mind hangs up the phone on a deal that could bring you $6 million? Who would do that? But mind you, keep in mind, I already went through that process already. I went through 4 years of losing my salvation for God for money. And that was the worst feeling I ever had in my entire life. Because there is nothing to bring me happiness. So what good would that $6 million do for me? Can't bring me happiness. No matter what I buy, I've done it already. I did that one already. I'm repeating that twice. It's not going to make me happy in any way whatsoever. So if it's not going to make me happy, what point is the $6 million? I'm going to drop my cost and run for some money? No, I'm good. So in that conversation, I hung the phone up. And when I hung the phone up, they thought the other day that this must be some kind of typo. It has to be some kind of typo. There's no way in the world this guy would hang up this money for this kind of money. But it did. And when the guy asked me, did we have a disconnection? I said, no, I hung the phone up. So why would you do that? I said, because you disrespected my Lord. Now, these are men rich who have money and power and whatever whatsoever. And they think it's crazy that I would do something like that. At the end of the day, you're poorer than me. And the reason why you're poorer than me, you can't obtain the kingdom of heaven. Being rich isn't about money at the end of the day. It's about your salvation at the end of the day. And you gave all that up for money. He talks about, Jesus talks about how the rich man came to him and said, I practice the Sabbath at work. I worship the Lord. I practice the Sabbath. I read my Bible. Do all that. And Jesus said, okay, give up everything you have and come pick up your cross and follow me. And he couldn't do it. He walked away sad. And the disciples asked him, what happened? He said, well, they worship their money. Their money becomes their God. They can't give it up. It is easier for a camel to enter into a needle than it is for a rich man to inherit the kingdom of heaven. Your money blocks you. And when you die off this earth, you're going to go through that spaghetti strainer of life. Like everybody goes through. And all your worldly possessions, everything you have, is going to be in that strainer. You're going to pass through into the next life. and you have nothing at all. So when you hit that, when you wake up in that world, something's going to call to you. You're going to wake up and you're going to look over and it's going to be that demon that's going to call to you. And of course, you'll be terrified. You're terrified. You're going to see Jesus out there in the distance. You're going to run to him. If I get to Jesus, I can get rid of the devil. And Jesus, you grab him and look up at him and say, Lord, 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 I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. And he's going to look at you and says, who are you? I don't know you. I don't know you at all. So Jesus disappears, goes in complete darkness, and guess who's in there with you? The demon. That's who knows you. So I don't drop my cross for that money. No, at all, period. So when your naysayers will come on and say, oh, how come you're not rich by now? So and so and so. I'm not rich right now when you made that statement because I choose not to sell my soul for money. Now the position I'm about to be in, I'm about to be beyond I've ever thought I could ever be in my entire life. This technology's worth a ton of money. But the difference is that when I receive that blessing, at the end of the day, I know that the devil can't use that blessing to twist it and turn it around in order to take my soul from me. You can't do that. Because I already went through that path already. I went through that trials and tribulations already. That's the beautiful thing about trials and tribulations. You have to go through that because it teaches you to be strong against the devil. It makes you a strong Christian. I've done this one already before. That's how I was able to turn down that $6 million. Now this went on for a while back and forth with them. Because now they're figuring in negotiations how it works is the more money you offer, the more happy you make the person. This went in a different direction. This was that every time they offered us more money, we would drop the money. Like, okay, I don't want that. I want maybe like $100,000. Because we're not taking the money either way. But I want to let them know at the end of the day, their money means nothing. Because people like that have that kind of great wealth. So at the end of the day, because I have all this power, everybody's got a price tag. Everybody can be bought. They had to learn today that there are people that you can't buy, especially Christians. And that got all the way down to $25. How do you go from $6 million to $25? I don't need that. I got that in my banking account right now. But thank you so much. I appreciate our time. And that was the end of it. Never talk to them ever again. Now, other people in situations like, man, I took that money. So I said, yeah, you take that money. Go ahead. And the devil would have sat there and said, got him. We got him. Got his hands in the cookie jar. We got him. And he would have sent things your way that put you in a situation that, mind you, when you have people that are around you, sometimes some of those people aren't human. Some of those people can be demons. Demons can cause depression. They can cause a number of things that can cause to you. Suicide thoughts, all that stuff. Bring a whole lot of things your way. Sad thing about it, you see a lot of these stars out here commit suicide and they die at the end of the day. It's just sad. People kind of skip past the fact that they're human beings at the end of the day. You know, they see the glamour and all this, whatever. But deep down inside, among all that front they put on, they're human beings, just like me and you. They're in pain. They go through betrayal. They go through all that. They're human beings. That's what they are. They need to find somebody at the end of the day that's going to say, hey, look, you know, your money don't mean jack to me at the end of the day. Let's go get a hot dog. Let's go my treat. They need people like that, people that are going to direct them in the right path to find God. Instead of getting some twisted nut job at the end of the day that's going to basically drain them of all their money, be a complete yes man to them, and then at the end of the day, get them into some weird jacked up religion at the end of the day that's going to twist their mind so they can continue to siphon money off of them. Which is pretty sad. That's why a lot of rich people don't trust people at the end of the day, because they've been through that nonsense at the end of the day. They need to put God first. Oh, you're finally doing it. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You little tell Cubby home. I've been trying to get up for the longest time to train him to get up in the top areas of the bookcase area because he likes to be up high. And he finally did it. He finally got to look at him up there at the top of the bookcase. You big loaf of bread. Don't loaf of bread. Don't loaf of bread. Bread. I'll make a bread box. I'll make a bread box. Put your name be the bread box. I'll make a loaf of bread. Look at you, you cute little monster. Oh, yeah, finally. Took forever for you to get up there. You know how hard it is. I was trying to get him because he's not trained. He's not trained to climb up on stuff. I'll never catch him on top of my desk, countertops. Man, Tucker will do any of that stuff. Tucker will not climb up a bookcase and knock off your valuables. So he'll do any of that. Every once in a while, he'll jump on something that, you know, like a fireplace or something like that. He doesn't jump on the fireplace all the time. But if I tell him he can go there, he'll go there. He's a perfectly trained cat. He is perfectly trained. But that was trying to get them to go up there for the longest time. I'm not going to use all this at the end of the day. Well, when we get the warehouse unit, we're building him a box kingdom. It is going to be insane. It's a sliding board in there too. I don't know if he's going to use it or not, but anyway. My buddy's going to build the ultimate box kingdom. And there's cameras throughout the whole entire thing, so you can check out his box kingdom. Ain't that right, Taco? The box kingdom. Except for the bathroom doesn't have doesn't have cameras in there. That's where his litter box is going to be at. I'm going to make him a customized litter box. So I told my buddy about it. Yeah, dude, we can build the ultimate box kingdom. Yep. Swing for Taco. So yes, sirree, buddy. Yes, sirree. Finally got you to get up there, man. About time. Because he wasn't going up there. Now he's up there. King Taco! Taco! King Taco! So get the camera out of my face. Even for those of you who threatened that cat at the end of the day. Do you have any idea the danger you put yourself into at the end of the day when you touch God's blessing? Anything that involves with the Lord, you put yourself in danger when you do things. Curse yourself when you do stuff like that. That cat was given to me as a blessing. Yep, I got him in COVID. He walked right in my door. Right in my door. And they sat there and threatened the cat. Yeah, if you ain't idea what kind of danger you put yourself in when you threaten a Christian, it is real danger. I mean, real serious danger. The fact you're still breathing and functioning right now is it's God's blessing at the end of the day. It didn't have to be that way. You can stop breathing right now. Can you imagine if you just stop breathing right now? That's a terrifying thought, isn't it? If this was Old Testament, you'd be gone by now. You know that? You'd be gone. Because God did not play around. He wanted one to play with. Jesus didn't come yet. You'd be gone. There's something in the Bible about a disciple. And people don't know more about the Bible, because I studied the Bible, but I didn't study something. I don't know everything's all paying, but I've read the book. That these kids were messing with a prophet. They were calling him bald head, bald head, bald head. You know, a bear came out and killed him. Hey, don't touch God's anointing. It's extremely dangerous. You don't steal from God. Extremely dangerous. I can never understand how people become false preachers and prophets and all that stuff, and they steal from God. Extremely dangerous. Extremely dangerous to do that. If you're still breathing after doing this kind of stuff at the end of the day, God has mercy on you. Imagine you just being in a corner. You got one of the biggest, nastiest pit bulls you ever seen in your entire life, just snapping at you. And he's got this huge chain attached to a bolt in the back. One bolt's missing. And he's snapping at you. There's nowhere to go. You're trapped in with this dog at the end of the day. That's the devil right there. That's the devil trying to get to you to kill you. And that chain is God. And you go out and do dumb stuff at the end of the day. You know, if the Lord turns his back on you and decides to let Satan have his will, you will not be here anymore. He'll kill you in a hot second. He'll wipe your entire family out. One reason why you're allowed to go from A to B. Because God is watching over you. Because if you wasn't, same with the kids a long time ago, he's taking you out quickly. He has to plan and plot these things. That's what he has to do. But if he had free will, I mean, wait a minute, you mean to tell me I can just go take him? He'll take you in a hot second. He'll probably come in that true form and show what he really looks like. Because he has no way to he has no rules, no regulations whatsoever. He has rules and regulations while he's here. He can only do but so much. That's it. If he had free will, oh my goodness, man, this earth would be soaked in blood. You people that are devil worshippers at the end of the day, got a little message for you. You know, the devil hates your guts. He can't stand you. I had a friend of mine, at one point I found out he worshipped the devil. I found it out later on. We're not friends anymore. But, yeah. And he felt that the devil gave him power. Power. Gave me power. You know, why does it always end up with people with the devil? You end up going and killing a bunch of people and you kill yourselves. Or you get killed yourself. You know where you're going at, right? The devil can't stand you. He hates everything about you. And I had to tell him he's a devil worshiper. No, the devil loves me. No, the devil hates your guts. You know why he hates you so much? Because you represent God. Man was made in the image of God. You were made by who? The devil didn't make you. Who made you? God made you. So if God made you, right? That means the devil didn't make you. That means you become God's creation. And if you're God's creation, that means the devil hates all things of God, even himself. So he can't stand you. So his job is, when he messes his mind up, get him all caught up in this world, throw a whole bunch of trickery his way, and then I'm going to get him either to kill himself, or his time's going to run out here, or I'm going to figure a way how to get someone to kill him. Right? It's all going to end one way with Satan. He's going to try to kill you one way or another. He plots every single day. Don't worry about Jack, Sue, or any of the people in the neighborhood that don't like you. What you got to worry about is that demon that's sitting there trying to figure out ways how to kill you. That's what you got to worry about. That's what I told you when I got out. I told you. I seen things. 2 months. I couldn't figure out why I was seeing them. For 2 months, I saw demons for 2 months. Not the whole tail and spiked tongue and all that stuff. No, not that. I saw people that were possessed. That's what I saw for 2 months. You gotta be careful what you're sitting next to. You gotta be careful what conversations you have with people. Somebody will walk right up to you and have a conversation with you. That's why you gotta read the Bible. They know the Bible. They know the Bible very well. You have to know the Bible. They'll say things out of their mouth. Don't touch them. They want you to reach out. Don't do it. Because they'll reach out for your hand. They'll grab your hand. You're not alone here at all, period. You want to take it as basically as some kind of like Halloween tale? No, it's a real thing. That's why you pray over any house you walk into, any mail that comes to you, pray over everything. Because you never know what's behind it. Pray for your kids. Pray for your family members. Pray for your neighbors. That the Lord is watching over them. Because something's watching them every day. From the day you were born, it's there. And that's when you're going to enter this earth. It's there. So you have a worse enemy at all watching you. And you can't, the only way you can stop it is through God. Your guns, you know, your hand-to-hand combat, whatever, it's not stopping that at all, period. Only thing that stops it is God. Because it fears God, it don't fear you. What does it fear you for? It's an angel at the end of the day. Well, fallen angel, dark angel. What does it fear you for? It travels from time, from back and forth. It has unbelievable power. What the freak would it fear you for? It's like them and then in the Bible, when they saw Jesus walking around casting out demons, and these guys got the idea that, man, he's really good. What kind of trickery is this? What kind of magic is he using at the end of the day? Because they thought Jesus was making money. They're all false prophets. And they walked up on this person that was demon possessed, and they tried to cast out that demon. And that demon came up and said, we know Jesus. We know. They mentioned the disciples and who they knew. They knew Jesus. They said, who are you? They don't fear you at all. They attacked those guys. Those guys ran out of that room bloody. They don't fear you at all. They fear Christians at the end of the day because Christians walk with God. That's why. If you are walking with God. Mr. Williams, this is going to be a very interesting story for you. I know you don't want to hear it, but it's true. False prophets have been around since the beginning of time. They have. These are people who lead people down the wrong path. Some of them are very good at hiding their identities, and they stay within the dark so you can't see them. But sooner or later, they'll be brought out in the light because Satan will allow them to be seen for what they are. Satan has led you down the wrong path. Satan has told you to do all these things in which you have done to follow this demon. Satan's plans are to kill you, Mr. Williams, and that's what his job is going to be. But first, before he does that, he is going to hang you out and humiliate you for all to see. He got you to send half-naked pictures of yourself on postcards for all to see. He has humiliated you and embarrassed you for everyone. He sat there and had you write out things to show that you are a thief, that you steal from Jesus. His fellow on YouTube, those you don't know, who basically is a fake minister. And he went out and he sent half-naked pictures of himself all through the mail, which now has got him a serious post office charge because now it's considered to be pornography, which you can face 20 years per postcard. And there are about 30 or 40 of these things that he sent out. So, yeah, he's looking at the rest of his time behind bars. But anyway, let's move on from there. And Williams did the same thing as those people did back then when they were stealing from Jesus, or stealing from God first. So, again, back in the Old Testimony, if you wanted forgiveness, you had to have a sacrificial lamb or slash sacrificial dove or some kind of animal, and they would take it on the altar. They would sacrifice the animal, and if I think smoke came up white, you're forgiven. If it came up black, you weren't. That's how it was done. But then people got greedy. Man got greedy. Man thought, hey, I can figure a way. And preachers do this today. Some, not saying all, but some preachers do today. If you have this special sacrificial lamb, only these are special. Only these right here. They're all the same, but you can't put a lamb up there with blemish. So it can't have spots on it. It's be an all white lamb. It has to be all white without blemish. And it was like, these are special ones, special ones. They cost a little bit more money. If you want that true 100%, you've heard this before, it's in the Bible. When you read the Bible, you will see things of today that happened then. You'll see this. This is a special lamb right here. This will guarantee 100% that you're going to be forgiven from God. You know how dangerous that is? You know how insane that sounds? If you stop breathing, your heart just stops. You just die, just like that. So you just pass off, you're gone. You have no control over this at all, period. And you're basically making statements that the only way you're going to receive that special blessing or that special healing, if you basically buy this particular sheep only, that the rest of these will give you like half the blessing. You're putting words in God's mouth. You know how dangerous that is? Now, who knows what Mr. Williams said to these people at the end of the day when he was taking money from them? He was taking money from people asking for donations to PayPal and Cash App. The Cash App even had the word reverend, or short for reverend, which I think is REV, but it had a money symbol in it. And this man in no way is a preacher in any way whatsoever. Not even close. Trust me. No biblical Bible studies, no clergy ID. I asked him these things. He got mad. He cursed me out in front of a Burlington Coal Factory and some stream he had. That's not a preacher. How are you cursing me out? You're a preacher. How do we have letters over here of you describing about rape and stalking people? And you're supposed to be a preacher? Person of the cloth? No. You're a devil. That's for sure. You're a demon. And you are telling people in the YouTube channel that you are basically direct and guide them to become closer to God. How are you going to get them closer to God? You're not even close to God yourself. It's like the blind leading the blind. You have this big, huge splinter in your eye, and you can barely see. So how are you going to be able to pull the splinter out of the person you're trying to save? You can't even see yourself. How are you going to help them? The blind leading the blind. That's what you are. This is why you read your Bible, people. Reading your Bible allows you to see things in this world much easier and understand them much easier. So when these people speak, you know your book at the end of the day. Always trust in your book. Any preacher at the end of the day, I still trust in my book. I don't give praise to the preacher, I give praise to God. What he tells me, I go back in the book and I check. If he tells me, oh, don't go back in the book and check, I'm telling you, no, then you already told me everything I need to know. Bye-bye. But you're supposed to be leading people to find the Lord, and yet you're sending half-naked pictures of yourself on postcards, curse words in your letters that we have over here, claiming to want to rape people, especially me. That doesn't sound like anything to do with Jesus. It's nothing to do with Jesus at all. And then these donations you're taking from people at the end of the day and collecting money. You just robbed a bunch of people. So you literally did the same thing as these people did back then with these special sacrificial lambs. Mind you, I seen a preacher one time had prayer cloths all over his table. He had these prayer cloths, and he said, if you want one of these prayer cloths, you just donate so and so. So you donate. Actually, you're buying, but you donate me $13. You donate me $19.99. That's one of your favorite numbers right there. And I'll get you a special prayer cloth that's guaranteed to heal you. Now, when Jesus was walking around the earth, did he sit there and walk at the people and say, okay, hey, look, if you want this special prayer, and I got 3 kinds of prayers. I got this prayer, I got that prayer, and I got this prayer. You know, this one costs this kind of money, that one costs this kind of money. Did he ever say that? He didn't do that. He healed them right from the door, didn't he? He didn't ask for any money. But how these guys go along and say this, make money off Jesus' blessing? Boy, you're a special type of human being for that one. You're a special type of man. How can you be that person at the end of the day? How do you rob God at the end of the day? These preachers up here got these mega churches, $1 billion jets. You know how insane that is? $1 billion jet. The chief told people, you need this jet because you need to be to travel from A to B to be the healer man. Jesus didn't have a $1 billion jet. He could have got one. It would have been the craziest thing in the book. You'd seen a jet flying around at that particular era in time. But still, he could have got one. He's got it. He can have whatever he wants. He could have had chariots travel him everywhere he wanted to go. Horses, chariots in gold and diamonds or whatever. He didn't have any of that. He walked around and he walked everywhere he wanted. Everywhere he wanted, he walked. Why didn't he have all that? Was he draped in $35,000, $60,000 suits? No. He had none of that. He saved people and came here and did miracles. Even fought the devil. So how is it that a preacher needs a $60,000 suit and $7,000 shoes and Rolexes and fancy cars and your jet and all that? You have got to be mad at the end of the day. You have to be mad. That tells you how wonderful God is and how graceful He is. These people would have been gone a long time ago. This is Old Testament. They'd have threw them, their family, and everybody into a pit, and you would have been stoned to death. They'd have cut your bloodline off. So you steal from God. Even Williams, you steal from God. And then people in the church back in those days went in and took God's church and turned it into a den of thieves. And we're telling people, if you want to really get saved, you need to buy this lamb right here. That's why Jesus was so upset. He went in there and took that branch and beat the daylights out of him. Now, if Jesus was that upset to pick up a branch and walk into a church and beat the crap out of these people, how do you think he feels about you stealing from him? I don't think he's happy about that. And yet, you're still able to breathe. And he drives around these e-bikes all the time. Do you have any idea if the Lord decided to say, you know what, I'm done with this, you'd be Final Destination all day long. Hey, easy, anything can smack into you and kill you out there in the street. Anything. The fact that you're able to drive all out there with them bikes, this Mr. Williams, and come back in to still continue to do the devil's work, praise God, got a lot of mercy. God also has, sooner or later, runs out of patience. For those sitting there saying, I don't think that's possible. It is possible. That's why there's a hell. Because he's tired of it. That's why you're going to have the end of days that you'll be tossed into hell and burned forever with Satan. Because he's tired of it. You got to be punished for what you've done. God's a merciful God. God would never punish me. You haven't read Old Testament, have you? You haven't read anything in the Bible, have you? God is not the one to play with. That's the reason why we die. That's the reason why women bear their children in pain. Because we're cursed. It doesn't sound like at the end of the day that somebody wasn't upset. The fact that you told you don't eat from the tree of life and you ate anyway from the tree of life, I don't think you said, okay, you know what, that's good, whatever. If that was the case, we'd have immortality right now. There'd be no wars, no death, no nothing at all, period. It wouldn't even exist at all, period. No, we were cursed. Our bodies are cursed. We die. We age, we die, all that stuff like that. They beat those people out of that church. Upset, angry. And then you got preachers today that steal from God. That's the one that you read about the Pharisees. The Pharisees walked around, the faces all twisted up and bent up and make it look like they were fasting for many days. They loved it when the people flung to them and asked them for advice. They liked that. They were full of pride and envy and jealousy. Among even each other they were. Full of puffed up with pride. And they basically did false demonstrations of casting out demons and healing people and all that. Yeah, a whole big scam running on. And they had people feeding off their scams. They're going and saying, hey, look, they're working together with them. They're selling these false sacrificial lambs. Special ones you have to buy. And these people of kings and stuff that have no faith in God are buying these special lambs. Some even have idols that they worship, their gods. And Jesus is looking at, God is looking at all this. Whew. I don't think they want to be on this planet anymore. I don't think they understand who owns this planet. Like, you really don't understand who owns all this. Like, your very life right now, I'm looking at your lifespan. Imagine having that power. You can look at someone's lifespan and think, man, that's it. Snip. We're going. You got to learn to fear God. You got to fear God at the end of the day. You have any idea what your life really is at the end of the day? You have no idea what goes on in your world. You really think the man who makes the big money, drives the fancy car, or whatever, he really thinks he has control of his life. You have control over absolutely nothing at all. Not a thing. You have no idea how much you don't have control of. You think because you have money that you can basically point what you have nothing. Do you understand me? You're taking nothing with you. When you pass off this earth, not one red cent will come with you. When you're sitting in that hospital bed and the time is coming for you to basically pay the toll, you can't add a minute more or a minute less to your time. No matter how much power you have nothing at all. Do you have any idea? If you even knew and saw your life from the outside of how they see it, how God sees your life, do you have any idea how frail your life is? How frail it is? Your life is, like they said, dust in the wind. You ever heard of the candle in the window? I think candle in the wind or candle wherever it is. But anyway, your life is that frail. It is literally that frail. If you even knew the number of things right now on this earth that can literally take you out, it is the equivalence, and I can't express it enough, of walking through a minefield with extreme magnetic boots. You hit any one of those mines and you are gone off this earth. And if you do this without being saved first, you're going to a far worse place after this. Think about that. What's waiting for you in this world? When the devil sits there and he sees all these traps he can put you through, like Mousetrap. Remember a game called Mousetrap? And God is sitting there trying to warn you, hey, look, you may want to go in this direction. Listen to me. And you go, now I'm going to go there. There you go. I always see when I read the Bible and I start understanding more about the Bible, I see the big picture in life now. The big picture. I see a bunch of people getting dressed up and going back and forth picking some stuff up, getting dressed and went to a club. You never know what's waiting for you in the club. What's waiting outside the club. And this happens every day. Person comes in, you never know what your day's going to bring. You wake up that morning, go to work, everything seems great, you're having a great day, driving, listening to music and all that, stuff like that. I'm not trying to put paranoia in your head, but you gotta wake up and see what the world really is. Any given time in that day, your life could be over. Not why don't Christians paranoid about that? Because we're passing through. We don't consider this our world at the end of the day. We don't. We're passing through. If I go out the door and I don't come back tomorrow morning, I went home. I see my mother's face again, and I see God. I'm good. Taco's in the will. My sister will pick him up and take care of him, so he's already taken care of. That's it. Do I care about all this stuff? No, I don't. Be a multi-billionaire, millionaire, who cares? I don't want. The Lord came to me and said, hey, got a deal for you. I can give you more money and come home with me right now. I'm packing my bags. I'm gone. But anyway, like I said, you have no idea how frail your life is. You really just don't know. And that person can be getting up in the morning, and I think about this too, when I hear about people who died that day, or people passed away that day, being in the wrong place, wrong time. And I thought when they got up that morning, they never knew that was going to happen to them that day. And get up in the morning and see your family and all that, and you don't realize that everything you're seeing is going to be for the last, because you don't know that. It could be your last day. And you go out the door and you go to work and have a great day. Your girlfriend said, hey, we're going to this club later on, some new club. You want to go? Sometimes you get that feeling that tells you, no, you don't want to go. I don't want to go. I'm just going to stay home and watch some Netflix. That's what I'm going to do. Sometimes some people do go. And then just imagine you're at this club having fun. Everybody's enjoying themselves. And an active shooter walks into the door and just lets loose. They didn't expect for an active shooter to come through. But meanwhile, in that world where the active shooter's at, he's back there listening to some crazy music and probably doing some kind of satanic gestures and whatever's going on with him. Maybe he's going through depression, whatever. But now he's trying to figure out a place to go to basically put his final goodbye in. And he wants to take as many people as he wants with him. And he chose the very bar that you're going to be at that night, that club with your friends. You got to look at both sides of the story on how that goes on. So the one in another light, the other person who says, I'm not going, I'm going to stay home and watch some Netflix and stay to myself, her life was spared. She didn't die, but her friends did pass away in that bar when that guy walked in and shot that place up. And the guy, before he shot the place up, the Lord could have spoke to him and said, look, this is not what you want to do. Come and seek me. Come seek me. And he could have thought about it for a minute, but the devil comes and says, you know what you have to do. We have to show these people you mean business. Now he has an option right there in that split time to choose the right path. If he chooses the devil, then people die in that unit, by that building. And to anybody in that building that wasn't saved, they go to hell. He goes to hell. The devil collects more for his army. Or say the active shooter decides not to do it. So he calls the police and says, hey, look, I'm having suicidal thoughts. I'm up here, so-and-so, and he reports himself. Then he has a chance of finding God and finding the kingdom of heaven. And those people live on for another day to maybe find God themselves. And the devil's plans are full. That's the world you live in. You have no control over anything in this world. No control. You never know what the devil is going to push in your path to take your life out. Those people had no idea that an active shooter would have walked in there and killed people in that place. And at the same time, with the active shooter sitting there, the devil's talking to him and speaking to him and telling him, look, this is what I want you to do. This is what I want you to kill. This is the place I want you to go to. And the Lord's telling him, no. You're not going to any places. I don't want you to go to these places. Come and seek me. That battle is going on right there. That basically is what's going to trigger whether you live that day or you die that day. That's how frail life is. Christians avoid all this stuff because God, we seek God every day. We seek Him. The Lord protects us. He's our protector. So all the evil that the devil tries, all his little tricks and his master chess game of trying to kill people in different directions, can't touch us. Now, doesn't mean at the end of the day he's not going to stop messing with you. Oh, he's going to mess with you every day. He's going to mess with you every freaking day. He's going to try to mess with you every day. He's going to try. Because he's mad. You're the one that got away. That's why he's going to try. He ain't going to get anywhere, but he's going to try. That's why it's important. When you see people doing things like this, you can't look at the person. When we see Jamie doing all this stuff, we just don't see Jamie. We see demons. Mr. Williams, we see demons. Rogers, we see demons. McAfee, we see demons. That's what we see. We see the demons that are speaking to you, telling you to do these things. And the sad thing about it is, we already know that that devil and demon, whatever plans that can't touch us, we know that from the door. But we also see what's about to happen to you. Remember, your day's not guaranteed. No one is guaranteed to wake up the next day. No one is guaranteed to come back in the next day. Every day you're going to hear in the news about somebody who went out and did not come back home. And that could easily be you. That's why you need to pray with the Lord. Pray and find God. You need to. I thank the Lord every day when I was out there running the streets, pushing those limits. Any given time, Lord could have said, well, you know what, Satan, take him. Because I'm pretty sure Satan was probably up in heaven. And you know, people say, Satan can't go to heaven. Oh, yeah, he does. This is in the Bible. The Lord saw, the devil was in heaven. He asked Satan, where are you going? He said, to and fro. He'll come up there and he'll bid on your soul. Like, hey, what about that guy right there? You're not doing anything. Look what he's doing at the end of the day. Look at that. You know how jacked up that is, isn't it, when you really think about that? As the devil goes down and tells you, hey, look, go out and rob a bank, kill a bunch of people. Show people you're big and bad, you know what I mean? And you go out and rob the place and kill a bunch of people. Then the devil goes, look at that. Look what he's doing. Look what he's doing down there. He done told you to do it. And now he's going to go up there with God. You don't want him. Let me have him. Come on, let me have him. He's not even worth your time at the end of the day. Come on, he's never going to listen. From day one, he's been nothing but trouble. And he's the one sat there and get you in all this trouble, which again, you can go take God and cast away the devil and take the Lord. Or he's the one that tells you, go out and do this, go do that, go do that, go do this, go do all that, right? Do that, and then go up in heaven. Look at him right now, look what he's doing. You want to save that. Why would you want to save that in the day? That is definitely not worth your time. Let me have it. That's what you're dealing with. Yep. Instead of basically all the stuff he did investing in me and then turn around and he didn't get me any. I serve God now. And he goes, man, that's an interesting turn of events. I wasted all this time trying to get this guy, and I've had him. I thought I had him. Even possessed him. I had him. I had him. And God still got him. He lost that battle. I can't get him back now. All he wants to do is serve God. All he wants to do is talk about Jesus. That's all he wants to do every day. He just wants to talk about God every single day. I can't touch him. There you go. So I'm not ashamed to tell people I got locked up. No. Why would I be ashamed of that? That's why I got saved. That's how I became God. That's how I started my journey. That's how it all started. That's how I learned so much and read the Bible. I learned so much about God and this world and everything. I learned all that from Jesus. Everything. Everything I got. My computers up here, no matter how much you don't like them today, that's all came from God. I didn't go to school for any of this stuff. I didn't go to school to build my machines and my computers. I didn't go to school for none of that. I had no idea what a motherboard was or a hard drive was or none of that stuff was. That's all given by God. See that technology we have up there, that screen paint? That thing beats everything we throw against. It's one of the most advanced screen paints we've ever had in our entire life. I sat there in the middle of the floor and made the statement, did I not? There's interesting things about people when you sit there and make those statements, and the Lord shows them who He is. He shows who He represents at the end of the day. And then they'll still even get madder after that, after the Lord proves who his saints are. They'll get mad at that, and they'll go, well, this, that, and the other. Oh, you keep on playing with that demon at the end of the day. You keep on playing with that. Because I guarantee you one thing. If you're sitting in your home, and you're doing evil things, you're on your computer and carrying on, and just say that door were to be kicked open, and that demon would have stood at you at full form. I mean, full form. I've seen them in possessed mode, and that's scary enough as it is. But imagine you saw it in full form. What you gonna do? You ain't getting the gun. That ain't gonna work. Every inch of your body would tell you to run. You're not gonna sit there and fight that thing. Every inch of your body, because it's way beyond your world, will tell you to run. What's the first person you're gonna call on? You're gonna call on God, aren't you? But you spend. He's gonna look at you like, whoa, why are you calling God? You mean to tell me you've been listening to me all this time, and now you're scared of me? Because I show you what I truly look like? You've been talking to me the whole time. I've been telling you to do all these evil things, and you've been listening to everything I do. So now you're going to run from me? Now you're going to call on God? Did you see my true form? You see what I look like? Oh, heck no, buddy. We're friends for life. That's pretty much what you're tying into. And you want God to get that out of your house. But yet you invite it to your house every day when you go do stuff like that. When you stalk my family, when you dox addresses, that's not of God. God doesn't do that kind of stuff. That's up to you. That's what you do when you serve the devil. I mean, terrorist threats and all that stuff and all weird stuff you guys do. That's what you do. So, bottom line is, if the devil popped up in your door, one of his legions, one of his dark angels pop up in your environment and show what they really look like, now you don't want nothing to do with it. Well, I'm explaining something to you. You'll see it sooner or later in its true form. Keep following down that path. Your time runs out on this earth because you're only here on a certain amount of time. You're on borrowed time. Either that kicks in, or the devil figures out a way how to kill you. Sooner or later, you're going to meet him. You're going to get your act together. Like I said, you're on borrowed time. Nothing you have here on the earth, even your own life, is not forever. Sooner or later, you have to go. No one knows when their time is going to be. Some people may have 20 years, some people may have 40 years, some may live to be 80 years old, maybe 80. And in between all that's going on, you still have to worry about the things of this world that could easily snuff you out, that the devil can control. Yep. What time we got? I got to be out here at 8 o'clock. Oh, I got a computer running over here. Oh, yes. I'm going to talk about Jesus. You don't like it? No, I feel sorry for you that you don't. I really don't. You know we don't like it when I talk about Jesus? The devil can't stand it. The devil hates it when I talk about Jesus. So if it bothers you, this is a big wake-up call. Someone told me this one time, and I realized it now as I got older. It's 8, 7 times I got to leave. That the devil hates it when you talk about Jesus. Now, you think about this real quick. The devil walks in your living room. He shows his true form to you, right? Of course you're going to be terrified. Who you going to call on? You're going to call on Jesus, right? No. Why would you call on Jesus? Because you know that's the one being at the end of the day the devil's afraid of and will not go against. And that's the one person that can save you out of your situation. But yet, that's the same thing that you talk to every single day when you have conversations about doing evil things to evil people. When I tell you, have no idea what's whispering in your ear. And when I was here for the time I saw those demons for 2 months, I saw things that you cannot explain. And I couldn't figure out why. I thought it was being condemned. I thought God was mad at me about something. Why you let me see these demons? I don't want to see this stuff. It's scary. It's terrifying. Because I was so deeply embedded with the devil, the Lord had to show me what was talking to me. That was the most scariest 2 months of my life. Now, I was never going to be touched, because again, the Lord tells him. Now he told him, you can show him some stuff, but you cannot touch him. You can't harm him. They weren't allowed to touch me. But I saw some stuff, man. And I thought at one point, I went to my mom and said, Mom, I don't know why I'm seeing these things. I'm seeing demons. I've been seeing them. He said, well, Annie, there's a reason why. There's a reason for all things, why God does all these things. On the day I was baptized and I was saved, a woman was walking down the street. She didn't know me. I don't know. Mom didn't even know her. And she walked right up on our porch. Right up on our porch. And so went to my mom. She said, Mom, my mom's a true believer. So on her face, she said, the next time he gets in trouble, the Lord will not hear him. And she looked right at me. And she said, and just look, when she said it, she said, my mom took it in, she walked away. My mom turned around, her eyes were where she was crying a little bit because it was overwhelming. And she said, did you hear that? Did you hear it? Yes, I heard it. That's not a demon, that's an angel. Coming straight to me, telling the message. I've seen stuff like that in my life. Okay, you stay out of trouble. Because the next time, the Lord will not be there. That's why the devil's been trying to get me to lose my temper and get upset and do all these things and hurt people. When I was young, I was 16, I was a very violent person. I wasn't afraid to take a human life. I had no remorse for people. I just didn't have it. I didn't feel it. It didn't connect for me. I can tell you right in front of your kids and have no remorse because there's nothing there. I just didn't have it. It wasn't there. I don't know what happened along the way. I was never that person ever when I was coming up in Newark, Delaware, but the minute I transferred to a violent neighborhood, everything just changed. I was a different person. Threatened to kill family members, and I don't fear for them. Threatened to kill police, no fear for them. I don't fear for nobody. And I was extremely suicidal. I didn't even care for my own life. So, I was 16 years old, running with gangs and carrying on and acting up. When I said I was initiated, I started running with them. And friends and members were gang members. But if I was the same person, and say nothing happened, say I never got caught, say I went out that back door, because that's how I got caught. I went to a front door, and I never went to the front door ever. Never ever went to the front door. I never got caught. I was very careful about everything. But if I went to that back door, this would have continued on. Maybe the devil would have got his wish and somebody would have killed me by now. Something would have happened. It wasn't going to go well. It was meant for this to happen. Maybe the Lord saw that path coming up and said, you know what, I walked to the door, front door, and I walked right to that front door. I just got up and walked through it. So to this day, had no control in that situation, just got to walk right through. And when I walked through, there was nobody out there when I first went in. Then I walked into the doors. Right there. Boom! There's a guy sitting staring right in the face. He knew I was. I knew who he was. I knew him. We lived on the same block. But anyway, yeah, when I was at that age of 16 years old, that's why I said sometimes you have to go through some very interesting trials and tribulations. You do. What I went through with Fernando, what I went through with McAfee and Daniel and all those people that jumped on me on my company and stuff like that. That's trials and tribulations right there. Now, of course, you're going to pay for this. Gentlemen, you're going to pay because it's divine through God. He's going to make sure you're brought to justice. It's definitely going to happen. Some of you are going through it right now. Some of you are about to go through it. You can't hide. You can't get around this. As I told you before, if you feel that you die off this earth and nothing's going to happen to you in the next life, you got to pay for all that. It's even worse there because there's no forgiveness. But anyway, I was losing my train of thought there for a minute. Another trials and tribulations on that. Thank you for bringing that back. So I had to go through some things in life. I had to go through a lot of things in life. And I was a person at 16 that had an extremely violent temper. Very violent. I was not afraid to take your life. I didn't have that remorse where people think at the end of the day, if I shoot this person, I'm going to jail. It wasn't in my head. It just wasn't there. I had no remorse for anyone's life, not even my own people. If you were a friend of mine, there was a 100% chance you were probably going to end up in a grave somewhere because I probably would have taken your life for nothing because I was that messed up in the head. We have a conversation and we have a disagreement, your life is over. That's how violent I was. And the devil was pumping me up that I was some kind of god at the end of the day, that I was basically unstoppable. And he was just filling me with all kinds of evil thoughts. I remember sitting in the graveyard having conversations with Satan. It was that bad. I mean, it was really, really bad. So I had no remorse for you whatsoever. It didn't make a difference if you had family. It didn't make a difference if you were connected. It didn't make a difference because I was ready to die at any given time, which means if I had explosives, I would have walked in your house fully loaded and detonated. I had no fear of death. The devil told me that I would live forever. The devil told me that I was indestructible, that no one could kill me. I had no fear. And at the same time, the devil was telling me to kill myself. Isn't that kind of jacked up? Yeah. Crazy that went on in my life. So it was an automatic death sentence just to be around me because I was suicidal and I like to take human life. I had dreams about killing people. That's how engulfed I was with Satan. That's why I told you at the end of the day that I'm surprised I'm still alive. I'm surprised the Lord didn't destroy me. So I feared nothing at all. And nothing made a difference to me at all, period. I've always carried a weapon on me. So when I tell you, gentlemen, at the end of the day, if I had grew into 18 years old, if I grew into where I am right now, and I met you and we had this conversation, you'd be gone. And there was nothing anyone could do. I would go on a killing spree. I would go from place to place to place. They would have to take me down one way or another, but I'm not going. They would have to kill me. That's literally the type of person I was. You would have been gone by now. I'm not saying this in a way that I'm a big bad guy. I'm not a big bad guy. But in that world I was living with Satan, I was that person. I had no fear of death. And you weren't taking me alive either. So I wasn't going to hide behind a car. I wasn't that type of person. I pull out an Uzi, walk right up to your building, go right through your building, and think nothing of it. I wasn't afraid of death. But in the same way, I wanted to die at the same time. Because even in that split second of darkness in my life, there was this overwhelming depression that I hated who I was. I hated what I was all about. And every time I would see my mother, I would see I was a disrespectful, disgusting human being. And I wanted death so badly. I wanted it to end. So in shootouts, I would walk out of the car. Get out of the car and start firing. Because I was hoping that one of those bullets would strike me and this nightmare would end. But another way, I was filled with so much rage that I wanted everyone in that house to die. That's literally what I was many years back before I became, after I got baptized, and that soul, that whatever that was, died. So if we met in this timeline, and I was that person, and you would have made one comment to me, I'd have been on an air flight, flew down to your neck of the woods. Of course, I'd have been licensed to carry. I'd have went down to a local gun shop. I would have stacked up, and I'd have went right through your building. And I don't care who got in my way, security guards or whatever. I'd have wiped everything out. Whatever I can take out, and I'll burn the place to the ground. I was known for doing stuff like that. I'll throw a molly through your window. One way or another, you're coming out. I was that violent. So when I went through the system, they put me in a different place. They put me in maximum security, psychiatric evaluation. That's what they had to put me through. Because the stuff I had on my record was insane. Mind you, I was facing 40 to 80 years at 16 years old. So my record was through the roof. There was just so much stuff on it. And they started linking all this stuff together. Like, oh God, this was the guy in there doing all this destruction. Yeah, I was the guy doing all that destruction. So when my time came up, I went through a psychiatric evaluation. I couldn't pass it. I was so twisted. I was so messed up in my head. And the devil was talking to me the whole time. I heard him talking to me crystal clear, talking to me the whole time. Why all this is going, and I'm speaking back to him at the same time, and I'm not realizing I'm having this conversation with him while the psychiatrist is sitting right across from me, having this conversation. Like, I understand, I hear 100%. I got you 100%. I got this. I got this. I got this. And I go, who are you talking to? I said, I'm not talking to anybody. What are you talking about? And I was in there. I was shackled. I was shackled, and I was in handcuffs when I was in there. I was not allowed to come out of shackles when I was around anybody else, because I would have taken your life. So when that psychiatrist asked me at the end of the day, he said, if you weren't in shackles, what would you do? I said, I'll kill you. Throw your body out the window. Because that's what was talking in my head and telling me to do things. So when I tell you that I had first-hand experience of being on that same, not the same level of the devil, but being that close to him, yeah, I was on that same level. Really bad. Really, really, really bad. Now, you can look at the end of the day and say, hey, well, you know, I'm not afraid of you. I'm not saying to be afraid of me. I told my enemy today, don't be afraid of me. But know at the end of the day, I'm coming for you. And you have to kill me to stop me. Some of the drug dealers out there I get into arguments with sometimes and say, well, you want to go to jail? And they say, no, I don't want to go to jail. But you are going to go to jail. You don't have no choice. You don't have no choice out of this matter. Why don't choice? Because you're going to kill me in the process. You're going to have to. You have no choice. I'll come after your friends. I'll come after your family. I'll come after everybody. You'll have to kill me. And I want to die anyway. Now, you got a person who's suicidal who wants to die. That's not a person you can reason with at the end of the day. And that's what they would terrify me to stay away from, because they would trigger off that type of time bomb around them, and they didn't want it. That's how reckless I was. I'm really shocked I'm still here. I really am shocked. That shows you how amazing God is, that I am still here breathing. I should literally be dead. It was so, when I got baptized, it was so overwhelming that I almost tried to commit suicide, because I thought at the end of the day God couldn't want me. Now mind you how evil the devil is at the end of the day. The devil is. God brought me through all that. Everything that I went through made me a free man. And even when I came and I got baptized and I was facing my own sins, I can see my sins standing right back at me what I used to be. The devil came in and said, Mother, please, why would God even want you? He just saved me through all of that, but you'll mess your mind up that quick. And I thought, and I was thinking about, why does God want me at the end of the day? I mean, I caused all that destruction, and why does he want me? Realizing God just saved me. I didn't see it, but the devil had my mind clouded. That fast, that quick. And I thought about killing myself. I was going to go into the bathroom, I was going to take a bunch of pills and kill myself. Because I'm not worth anything to God. My mom, again, came up and saw what was going on, and she prayed over it. She knew the devil was around me, trying to get to me. Because again, he lost me. He was trying to get me back. And she said, I want you to read this part in the Bible. Now it's about Paul. Paul or Saul. Paul. We're both the same person anyway. When he went out, he killed a whole bunch of Christians. He was going to town, gathering up Christians. He was killing them, murdering them, and everything, the whole 9 yards. And the Lord knocked him off his horse, and the horse started speaking to him, or the Lord started speaking to him, and said, Saul, Saul, why do you prosecute me? And Saul became a freaking prophet of God. I'm like, wow. He made him a prophet? That man murdered a bunch of Jews. He murdered Christians every day. He threw them in court. He killed everything. I mean, literally, babies, whatever. He murdered it. He had no remorse at all. And I'm thinking, wow, if God can save him, he can save me. That's what brought me out of it. Yep. So I can see through what I've been through with these guys and what they put me through in my life, how much I have changed, how much I am not that person anymore, how much that person has died, and he can never come back. Because if he did come back, gentlemen, you wouldn't be here right now. And I wouldn't call on anybody. I know people. I wouldn't call on anybody. I would do it myself, because I would not lose that pleasure in it. That's how sick and messed up my head was. I would leave nothing breathing in that house. Nothing. And I would burn it to the ground. because I called it a way in my head of cleansing the earth, purging it from your existence, wiping your existence clean. That was a trademark of mine, to burn a house to the ground. So roughly, in the count of roughly 16 arson accounts. That was one of them, the accounts I had. One account was 16 arson. It wasn't the rest of the stuff. This is while I was facing the 80-year prison sentence. It was through the roof. When the day looked at it, my goodness, like the devil himself. And I smiled at him. Who? I said, you called? When I was sitting there, the D was looking at me, staring at me. And I was looking right at him, right back, because it was a demon looking right back at him. I wasn't me at the end of the day. I was that demon. And when the devil said, you're the devil himself, I smiled and said, you called? Yeah. There are eerie things that I've said around people. One time I remember, and the thing about the devil, he will tell you things to say to get you out of situations, to make you believe you have power when you definitely don't. And one time I got into this huge argument when my family members had threatened to kill him in the worst way you can possibly think of. And I remember in the elevator, I didn't see it, but they said they saw it in my face, that when I wanted to go talk to the psychiatrist, I had to sit there, they locked me up, and I had to go through psychic evaluation. I sat up there on that top floor to take out the shoelaces and all that stuff, and anyway, and I walked up around up there, and I remember the devil was telling me, he was talking to me the whole time. He said, we're going to be out of here soon. I've got plans for you. You're going to be out of here soon. They can't hold you. You're not. And he literally made me believe that I was more powerful than anyone in that room. You'll be leaving soon. I did leave. I left. So he told me the right things to say. Of course he told me the right things to say, because he can't kill me in there. I didn't realize what was going on the entire time. He needs me back out in the streets to get me murdered. So I sat there, and I sat there in front of the psychiatrist. And the psychiatrist said, you read some of the things I said to one of my family. This is very disturbing. This is extremely disturbing. It's a level of a serial killer. And I'm looking at him, I'm smiling. And the devil said, cut it out. Tone it down. And I stopped smiling. Show remorse. And I showed remorse. And he said, this is what you say to him. I said, okay. So you're married, right? Because I'm looking at the pictures and kids on the wedding ring. You're married, right? You and your wife get into heated arguments. And sometimes when people get into heated arguments, they say things more than what they would say to hurt that person's feelings. Some things they can't take back. If that's the case, wouldn't you be here with me? And that's what got me out. Because he realized that was true. Because he has said things. He has lost his temper. But if you lost your temper and said things you know, I thought you would never say before, shouldn't you be in here with me also? He released me. So when they came in, I was already ready to walk out the door. And during the elevator, they said my eyes changed colors. I smiled and my eyes changed colors. Let them know at the end of the day, I said, you can't stop me. There's nothing you can do to stop me. I have more power than you ever thought anyone could ever have. And they said my eyes changed color. I see my mom back up and look at me in the corner. My mom's a Christian woman. I was possessed. I didn't realize I was possessed. I was possessed. So I spent a lot of my time in the graveyard. I was comfortable there. I was comfortable in the dark. I liked it. I didn't like too much of the light. Didn't like the morning too much. And I dwelled in it, but didn't like it. And I remember this dream I had. I had headsets on. I don't know, it was a vision or dream. I had this dream that I was with other people and I was marching up this hill. The devil was leading the charge. It was like a band leader when he takes that rod and pushes it up and down and he's marching, and we're all in this trance. We're following him up the top of this hill, the top of this hill. It wasn't going to heaven, it was going to someplace else. I'll never forget that. I seen the darkness and the fire and brimstone around it, and the devil's leading this dance, and we're all behind him, dancing with him. That's what I saw. And then that's when my mom had called the police because she wanted me out. And I remember the police came in, and I looked up, and they kicked the door in. And I looked up and took the hits off, and the devil said, run. I ran right past them, knocked both officers over. Leaped out the window and ran across the rooftop. I felt like a dog was running across the rooftops. And this happened 4 times. They tried to get me. They missed me 4 times in a row. They couldn't catch me. But then that one day, I'll never forget, the officers were there and the preachers were there. They were there. It was about 8 or 9 downstairs. They're preachers. Because they knew what was in me. And I never forget that when they kicked that door in and The devil told me to run. There was a preacher there. I couldn't go. I couldn't get past him. Like, I couldn't get past him. I couldn't. I was scared. I was running. And I ran one way, and there was one there, and I ran another was there. I was blocked in. All that power, I had nothing. I was scared. And they told the officers to move back, and the officers were moving back. Because I wasn't walking like a normal person. I was running like a dog. Even the officers knew that something was wrong there. And when I went to go try, when the officer moved from the window, I went to go jump to the window, I saw it. I saw what was in me. Let me tell you something. I would have jumped off the Empire State Building without pause. Knowing that I'm going to die. But that would have been far better than what I just saw. Death would have been far better than what I just saw at that moment. I didn't see the true form of it. I saw enough of it to terrify the living daylights out of me. Death was far better. And when I ran, they covered me over and prayed. And that was it. So, gentlemen, when you attacked me, when you came at me like that, if I was that same person I was back then, you would have been gone. This showed me, as I was going through these people attacking my friends, attacking my family, even attacking my cat at the end of the day, that were joking about my religion, saying nasty things about me for 5 years. Just went on for 5 years, these guys attacking me. Maybe 6, I think, maybe 6. And I was able to take all that abuse and still go before my Lord and pray and give it to him. Sometimes I would slip on camera, I would get upset and only human with the stuff they were putting me through. But I still would pray and give it to God, give it to God, give it to God, give it to God, give it to God. Allow me to see that I have changed in a big way. Some way there are things you still have to see. You can be a Christian for many years and there's still things you're learning about yourself. No Christian knows everything, but you're still learning stuff as you go along. And that's what I learned about myself in that trials and tribulations of these people attacking me, because I thought to myself, Lord, why are you allowing this to continue on? Why are these people allowed to attack me? I haven't done anything wrong at all, period. All I did was come out and make a screen paint. That's all I did. And I was viciously attacked over it. Why are they allowed to do this? Why is this happening to me? And the Lord said, just be patient. All things will be explained. And then I realized that, man, that person that I used to be a long time ago is gone. He's really, really gone. He's never going to come back ever again. Because not once did that person ever trigger off. And the devil knew that person because the devil made that person. And the devil wanted to bring that person back. He wanted me to go on a rampage. He wanted me to go on a killing spree. He wanted all that. And I was able to fight all that and still give it to God. What better way to see that you have changed than to go through something like that? So sometimes when you're going through something really, really, really bad in your life, and you're really being tested, God is protecting you the entire time. And I saw that. We still got our blessings. We still got our contracts. We still got everything we need. We got our technology advanced, everything. But I had to go through that trial and tribulations because the Lord had to really test me. Because he knows that once we reach that plateau, once I reach that plateau of having that kind of money, money comes with power. He needs to know that 100%, if I'm put under a lot of pressure, I'm not going to hire a hitman. Everything happens for a reason. I really had to go through some stuff. Because, again, if I was that person, I'd hire. I know people at the end of the day, and I don't associate with these people. I don't associate with any of them. When my life changed, I cut everybody off. I cut everybody off at the end of the day that would bring me to Satan's front door. I got rid of them. I only walk with the Lord. That's it. It ain't about God. It can't be about you. I can help you. I can pray for you from a distance. I can try to coach you in it. But if you're about that world, I got to stay away from you. I'm not trying to go back to that world anymore. I'm happy with Jesus. And that's what I saw when they came at me and they were attacking me on so many different levels. They're attacking my mother, attacking everybody. And I sat there and I just gave it to God, gave it to God, gave it to God, gave it to God. There are times where things did pop in my mind. But I didn't allow Satan to entertain it. I didn't entertain it. I went before Jesus because I knew who it was. I knew what he was trying to do. He's trying to get me back to where I was. And I'm not going to be that person. So, you can hate me and call my phone and curse me and call me all these bad things and talk about my late mother and talk about my cat and my family members and do all this crazy stuff in the day. But I'm not going to turn into that person. And that's a message to Satan and you. I'm not going to be that person ever again. That person died and he's going to stay dead. And I'm going to continue to serve the Lord, and that's what I'm going to do. And I'm happy that the Lord put me through this. I'm happy. You know why? I got a prosecution. I'm going to do what I got to do. I'm taking you to court because you got to pay for all that stuff that you did. But, as I said before, because I'm glad because I got a chance to really see who I really am. That I really am this saved person. Because sometimes you can be saved and all that, but still you really have to be tested to see if you really are there. And I'm happy about that. Because again, that type of money and that type of power, you know what kind of people I can hire at the end of the day to take care of my problems? I can get a mercenary. So yeah. So I know that when I've had companies and whatever, because I'm pretty sure whatever the Lord is getting me ready for, it's going to be crazy stuff that's going to pop up. But I'm happy to know 100% that I can go before Jesus and go, Lord, take this away from me and protect me. And I know he will. Which he did. In the 6 years these guys attacked my company, or 5 or 6 years attacked my company, look at the outcome of my company. Blessed with a wonderful technology. The Lord opened up a bunch of doors for us to be able to expand our technology. We're going to be able to put our technology back into the community to help other people out. And on top of that, of course, when we're talking about Jesus, we're talking about Jesus all the time. You know, preach the word of the Lord, put him out there on that in that spotlight. No, it's all about Jesus. We're praising him, and the devil can't stand. We're going to be doing this. And through the process of it all, the Lord will bless me with the money and everything I need, but also to give me the guidance to not travel down Satan's road. Because I know I'm going to have other trolls beside them. I'm probably going to have a lot of trolls beside them. A lot of people are going to try to do some crazy stuff. But I'm not worried about it. We're protected by Jesus. We're not worried about that. So it upsets them that they didn't accomplish what they were supposed to do. What was the outcome of it all, gentlemen? You have lost your businesses. One guy's business went down, one guy's neglecting his business. The other ones are running. They're running scared because they know these lawsuits, they're coming. They know this jail time is coming. You've wrecked your life. Listen to Satan. That's what you did. But there's a way to turn it around. There's always a way to turn it around. As long as you're still breathing, there's a way to turn it around. That's the only way you can turn around. If you're breathing, is basically go find God. Because you're going to need him. Your crossroads are about to come up really soon. You will be in a situation where you'll be in a courtroom. And your life will be decided. So you have to make that decision. Who are you going to follow? You're going to follow Satan or you're going to follow the devil? You're about to repeat my life, literally. So, you know, I'm going to get back to my work because I've been out of here a long time ago. Like, where the heck are you at? Talking about Jesus. That's what I'm doing. Talking about Jesus every day. Yes. I love God. Man climbed upon, sacrifice himself so I can live another day. You mean to tell me I did all that reckless destruction at the end of the day, did all that craziness, and Jesus still sat there and said, I love him, I'm going to take care of him, I'm going to watch over him, I got his back? Man, that's amazing love right there. That's amazing love. I'm happy to go through my trials and tribulations. I'm happy of it all. If the Lord takes it all from me and I'm throwing out in the street, I'm still going to praise his name. If you naysayers in the day sit there, oh, he lost everything, it don't make a difference. I'm still going to praise his name. I could have nothing on this earth, not a thing. I'm still going to praise his name. That's the part you don't get at the end of the day. You come at me saying, oh, he's in the garage. Oh, he's living here. It don't make a difference. I can be in a shoebox. It don't make a difference. I'm still going to praise his name. You can't take nothing from me. You can embarrass me, try to embarrass me all you want. Spat on my picture all over the internet, say nasty things about me. I'm still going to praise his name. That's not going to stop me. I don't got to be rich to know God. I don't have to be educated to know God. I know God. God accepts all at the end of the day. And it doesn't make a difference. I can lose everything and I can be thrown on the street. You think I'm going to curse my Lord? No, I'm going to praise his name every day. Because I told you before, gentlemen, you don't know my history with the Lord. You don't know my relationship with God. I've had a relationship with God before I even knew anybody on YouTube, before I had any of this stuff, any of it. I had a relationship with God. And when you sit up there and tell my blessings that my Lord gave me here are nothing but scams and rip-off, you at the end of the day have cursed yourself. Because you know why? You called the Lord's blessings scams and rip-offs. That's what you did. That's what you did. You have tried everything. And I mean people, they've tried everything. They have contacted people I worked with. They have threatened people that I have worked with. They have taken pictures of me and posted all over the internet. They have doxed and stalked my addresses. They have reached out to family members and sent naked postcards and all that stuff out to them. They tried everything. Call me a scammer, call me a ripoff, all this stuff. So when we get to court, you're looking at a minimum of 50 years in jail. That's a lot, man, for doing crazy stuff. But that's going to be your crossroad. What's about to happen to you is going to happen. It's your crossroad. There's no way around these things at all, period. It's destiny. It's going to happen. There are two types of this destiny. One, say nothing happens to you. Say you die. The next life you live in, you will be judged on everything you did in this world. And all that is basically by brimfire, death, and guess again, torture, things we don't even talk about. So that's the next life. There's no mercy over there. There's none at all, period. You're just basically thrown into the lake of fire, or basically, if you've been saved and you serve God, you go to Jesus, you go to heaven. That's it. But in that next life, those sinners are horrible. Over here, you have the option to be saved, like I was, from all the destruction stuff I was doing. So either way, you're going to pay for it. And for those of you already know that the Lord has brought forth, and we know you already, you're going to have to go through this passage of fire. You're going to have to go through it. There's no way around this. I know you may think at the end of the day that I'm not going to be found. God knows you, doesn't he? Doesn't God know where you're at? Tell me anywhere in this world you can go, God won't see you. All right then. So if we put our faith in God, and we ask Lord to bring these people forth, then you will come forth. Did you not commit these sins against me? Did you not basically lift up your heel and come after me and come after my family members? Then I went to my Lord and Savior, and I prayed before him, and I asked him to find these people. And the Lord will find you. And he has been finding you one by one by one. So if that's the case, this is a crossroad you will bear. Now, is this a bad crossroad? It depends. It depends on who you serve. When that crossroad comes, that could be your calling from God. That can be your time to face what you have done, and that is your calling. Just like when I went out and did all that crazy, destructive stuff, it was my calling. God was calling me. It's my time. Now, I could have chose to flush that Bible down the toilet and serve the devil, and probably would have been killed. Or I basically could have held that Bible close to my chest and read it every single day I was there. Sometimes 3 and 4 times a day. Really enjoyed it. It was a good book. I read the whole thing when I got out. But anyway, that is your crossroad. Some people don't even get that, gentlemen. Consider that a blessing on what you're about to go through. Now you may say, how is it a blessing, Mr. Burnham? I'm going to lose all my stuff. Well, you put that stuff before God. We know you do that. That becomes your God. I mean, your worthy possessions that be taken from you sometimes. You can sit there and say, well, I could spend the rest of my life in jail. You could. Depends on up to God. I was supposed to spend the rest of my life in jail, and look where I'm at right now. I'm right here having this conversation with you. Depends on what God is. But from what I've seen from man's point of view, you will be spending the rest of your life in jail. Depends on how God, how you end up in this crossroad. Now, you consider what's about to happen to you as a blessing. Because God can turn around and say at the end of the day, well, you know what? I'm not even going to bother. I'm just going to let it go. Let them continue doing what they're doing at the end of the day. And I'm just going to ignore this whole thing. And if he ignores this whole thing and your time goes and you leave off this earth and die, you're going to the lake of fire and burn. If he ignores this whole thing and decides to turn his back on you, the devil's got free roam to take you out. And you're still going to go to hell. So when your crossroad comes up and you decide that you want to be big and bad at the end of the day, and you want to be the tough guy, and you don't want to humble yourself before the Lord and ask for forgiveness, then keep in mind that the devil will finish the job. I tell you, when that crossroad hits, when your crossroad hits at the end of the day, you will know 100%. It ain't one of those things where you think that, okay, this is just a number of normal days. Those are not normal days. Those are never normal days, ever. It is going to be a day that's going to decide your fate on this planet. Is those kind of days that pop up. You ever heard the term, there's no atheist in the foxhole? That's a cross point area right there. Because you don't have to come out of the foxhole. You can be killed easily in a foxhole. That's where you make your decision right there on where you stand with. Are you going to accept everlasting life, or are you going to accept everlasting damnation? Because that choice is made right there on that spot. There are many people who have been in life and death situations where they have made that choice on the spot. So, that's the crossroad. And you gentlemen are going to be at a certain point in your life where you're going to have to face a judge and a trial and all that because of the crimes you committed against me and my family members. And that's going to be your crossroad. You're going to have to make that decision in there because the devil will talk to you and mess with you while you're in there on who you're going to serve. Crossroads always usually come with life and death situation, always. The Easter candies already out. Like, what in the world? I'm gonna need some jelly beans. No, Halloween candy. Halloween candy. That's a Halloween candy today in the store. Halloween candy. See, this is where I get the whole seasons messed up every single time. The last time they brought Easter candy out, like real fast, I'm thinking Easter already passed already. Then I see Easter candy again. I'm like, what in the world? Like, I remember a time when they brought out candy. That's when the season was coming up for the holiday. Like, we're always got a Halloween candy right now in July. I'm just gonna get candy corn. Let me get a bag of candy corn today. Well, subscribers, I lay it all out there. I've never been one to hide things. I'm not the type of person. That's not me. I'm not going to bring you onto a channel with something fake and phony, and I'm just going to come up there and just fake the whole thing to make my channel look good at the end of the day. I'm going to tell the truth. It's going to be, it is what it is. That's how I am. It's always going to be that way. You know, I talk about the Lord. I love the Lord. I praise the Lord. Why wouldn't I? He saved my life. You know how many times God has saved my life? I'm really shocked I'm alive. I really am. Shows you how good God is. I wonder if I can get access to that dome. I finally found that thing. Yeah, any idea what I had to go through to find that dome? And then I get up there and go, oh my goodness, like a block literally from where I was living at. A block. I could have had demonstrations up there a long time ago. But it wasn't meant to be. It wasn't meant to be. Everything happens for a reason. I'm going up there today. Take a look at it. There's some pictures of it. There's literally a stage with a dome. I'll put my screen up there and put the projector to do it on top of it. I'm going to show them today how we can advance the setup. And finally, we got what we needed for our company. We got it. We got a advertisement firm coming in. It's already paid for. Everything's paid for. Everything we need to come in and basically advertise our technology. This is what this technology needs. It needs more publicity. The publicity I get on YouTube is okay, but I need more. I need people to actually be able to walk in and see it. So right now, with the grant we're going to be getting, or grant loan, that's what it is. It's going to actually have to pay it back. So like a forgiveness loan. But anyway. It's going to allow me to get the storefront I need. I need a big one too, the big windows and all that, so people can walk in and see it. I need people to be able to walk in and see the screens. So that's what we're going to get. We got blessed. We got it. And we got the head director to come down here and see the screen for himself. He came and saw it himself. And he's sitting there thinking like, man, there's stuff we could do with this. It's crazy. I'm watching the wheels turn out. It's like, yeah, there's all kinds of stuff we do. We can set these screens up all over Allentown, which I want to do. I want to put these big screens up, big 250-inch screens, movie night. Everybody I ran this past loves the idea. Because, yeah, we can do like one for like the a 70s night, do 70 movies, like just those 70s style, or the 80s or whatever. This is great. This brings the community together. Because we all, Allentown is like, I like about Allentown, I'll bump into the same people like 3 or 4 times in Allentown. So I always bump into people multiple times in Allentown, all the time. When I bumped into one time, 4 turns like, are you stalking me? Are you stalking me? This is crazy because Allentown people bump into, and people know each other, but they're really friendly out here. That would be awesome to have something like that. The movie nights, and there's several different drive-in movie theaters which we plan to pay visits to them to set up our technology over there with them too also. But yeah, man, this is going to be amazing, absolutely amazing. Also too, over there, that's a projection screen, believe it or not. Actually, it turned white. I started off with gray. It can't turn white. But that's an actual projection screen. It's a new type of projection screen I'm working on. It's a gaming screen. I know it looks kind of crazy at first, they always do. But man, that thing's so cool. I ordered most of the stuff already, the paint job and all that stuff we need. I still have to go in and get the fans and LED lights and all that stuff. And it's the screen that attaches to it. Like that one over there has a screen on it like that one over there. Yep, man, it's going to be a cool looking setup. I can't wait. I'm going to build me a couple of these just like this. That's why I cleared up this section so I can stack them up over here. Oh, man. The Lord bless us with everything we need. Everything we need. Bless us with everything we need. Everything we needed. Despite the people who try to make my company look bad. He bless us with everything. And that should tell any Christian at the end of the day, if you watch Mr. Bird go through all this, that tells you how the Lord has your back. God has your back at the end of the day. No matter how much the devil is going to try to taunt you or try to make your life this, that, and the other, God has your back at the end of the day. He has your back. 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 You notice that Mr. Williams hasn't called it and carried on, right? You know why? Well, the fellow I told you had the problem was doing all the weird stuff and everything. That's another blessing by itself right there. This guy was contacting us relentlessly, sending us mail, all this weird stuff. He's reaching out to other people, just trying to make a lot of trouble for everybody. Well, I went to his managers, and I basically talked with them, and they were supposed to be doing something about it. They're supposed to be getting ready to get an eviction notice to remove Mr. Williams out of the building. But they did nothing at all. And the last conversation I had with them, he made a statement saying that, I said, well, you know that you're responsible for all of this. And he said, yeah, I know. And then that was it. Right after that, about a week later, Mr. Williams started sending out, this guy claims to be a preacher, sending out postcards with his half-naked body on it. Even worse, he was using the address of a funeral parlor, which I spoke to the owner of the funeral parlor. He was using her address. Jeff, any idea how much trouble would have happened to this guy? Say the post office flagged that, because you can't really send any adult content through the mail. It has to be covered up. It's a law. It has to be covered up. And this stuff wasn't covered. It's an open postcard, so anyone could have saw it. Under the post office, it's considered to be pornography. So, bottom line is, you're sending these postcards to people, especially without consent. So again, you broke the law there. So with that being said, if anyone at the post office would have saw that and said, hey, you know, this needs to be called in, and the address on the back of it, they would have reported the address, which would have been linked to the guy with the funeral home. He would have gotten hit with fines, penalties, maybe even gotten arrested. You could have gotten someone arrested. You could have wrecked someone's life within a day. The person calls himself ushering people to God. Whoever's in the dark comes out in the light. So, not having any hope with the managers. And I'm praying to the Lord, said, Lord, you know, we need help here, because this guy's attacking us. He's trying to make us look bad. We got your YouTube channels making the statement I was a slander, rip-off bar. We got all your channels. They're all documented, everything. So we're good to go for court. So I'm praying on this. Everything happens for a reason. It was meant for the managers to ignore us. All this was meant to happen because somebody bigger stepped in. So we went looking around and found, I remember I saw on his Facebook page, he talked about public housing. So we contacted public housing. Public housing told us that the house is private, which means that it's a private only unit, but it's owned, it's mine. This is like, whoever owns it has quite a few money. It's like a high rise, they're huge buildings. But anyway, it was private, but they still get their money from the government, because they get their Section 8 or whatever public housing. So that's what we found out through this one nice woman. And I explained to her everything we're going through with somebody in the building. Said, I'm sorry you're going through that. The managers should have handled that situation. I'm going to send you to someone at the end of the day that I guarantee you, bar none, will get this mess cleaned up. And sure enough, we called this lady. We put our information in. Legal contacted us yesterday. I missed the call. When I called back, it was legal. Their legal department reached out to us. Anytime legal department reaches out to you, that means it's about to go down. People are going to jail. They're going to file charges against them. We're filing charges. So we had the funeral home will be filing charges. Of course, my sister's filing charges. We received some of these weird pictures. And mine, she has kids at the end. They could have saw this horrible content. And they were open, out in the open. So she's filing. I'm also filing, of course, the stuff we've been through. So again, involving post office, that's a 20 to 30 year prison sentence. Cyber crimes, 20 years. Harassment, 7 years. This guy's going to very well spend the rest of his life in the lockup system. The lawsuits that are going through, well, the building's going to be hit with a lawsuit because we found out the building is reliable. The reason why, if you can show that you reported this, and we sent detailed letters to both units, the low rises and high rises, with pictures and everything attached to it. If you can show that you did reach out to these managers, and you can show that they neglected, which they did because he's still there long after we sent out all that information, instead of making YouTube videos about me, which were all documented. If you can show that, and you have evidence, because you have to have pictures, you have to have videos, we got all that, voice recordings, everything, the whole 9 yards, the landlord is liable, because they could have stopped it from happening, but they allowed it to continue on, which means Mr. Williams broke major agreements in his lease, which they have ignored. The only thing he received was a scolding. And after he received the scolding, a week later, we started getting naked pictures of him, half-naked pictures. So that right there on the terms, the building can be sued. And these lawsuits, the attorneys who got involved in this, they're not asking for $500,000. They're asking for way over that, because the extent of nonsense that went off from this individual, and they knew he was doing this and did nothing about it. On top of that, they're also going to state that the building also put others at danger. He was showing off these kind of weird behaviors. This could have led to somebody's child getting snatched or something even worse happening in that building, and they did nothing but ignore it. So yeah, managers are involved in that. Your jobs are about to be terminated, because I know for the person who got involved, we want to make sure they know at the end of the day about who was in charge when that whole entire situation went off. And Mr. Williams, well, you're going to jail. You're definitely going to jail, and you can't sue. You don't have anything, but you're going to lose all your benefits. That's definitely going to happen. But the building itself is liable. So there's going to be lawsuits going toward the building. Now, chances are, like I said, from my attorney's point of view, he said they'll never go to court. They'll settle out of court. They don't want the reputation of their building. Since it's private owned, and since it is taking money from government program, they can lose their funding. Their building could get flagged for that. And that's the reason why it'll sell out of court. So, everything happens for a reason. We're all three going to get blessed with a lot of money. And individuals involved that didn't do anything about it will lose their jobs. And I'm filing lawsuits separately to those individuals in civil court, because they ignored that nonsense, and I explained to them everything was going on. So for the managers that were involved in that, I personally will be filing lawsuits against you. I'm pretty sure my sister will file one also too, and I'm pretty sure Funeral Home will also be filing one also too. That they knew that you knew this stuff was going out with their address on it, and you did nothing about it. A lawsuit coming your way. So it's going to be worse for them. Everything happens for a reason. Who knows? They could have had problems in this building, and these managers could let a lot of stuff slide, because what I read in the reviews, a lot of people weren't happy about that unit because a lot of things were being swept under the rug. And there could have been other people praying about this. So you never know how everything just tied in together. So now we get rid of these managers, get them all out of there, get somebody in there, and then they're probably going to get somebody in there that'll do the job a lot better. And the building has insurance. I'm pretty sure they can cover the lawsuits. Yep. Because he tried to say, well, the manager, they're not liable. Yeah, you're liable. You are. Yep. And that's, you don't even have to be living in the building, because we looked it up. You could be in another state. If they're aware that you're basically using their address to harass and commit crimes online, yeah, you are definitely liable. Definitely liable. Those crimes came from that building. When they go through a crime scene, whatever area, that's why they call it a crime scene, because whatever happened at that crime scene is basically related to the crime itself. That building was related to those crimes. We even pinged the internet address, the internet, all that, phone records are all going back to that place. So yeah, they're reliable. And then if you say you didn't bring it to the manager, so you didn't tell anybody about it, no one knew about it, right? And you filed a lawsuit, you're gonna lose your lawsuit. You know why? Because you didn't inform them, so they didn't even know this was going on. So they can easily say, hey, we didn't even know anything was going on. I had no idea. But we did inform you. We sent over 13 emails with pictures attached to them and detailed letters describing everything that just went on. That's why. So that means you're reliable. Yep. So essentially, like I said, it'll be filed in court, because will I take us out of settlement? Yeah, if I get what I want, I will take it out of court settlement. If I get what I want. But if not, we'll take it to court. You have to pay us a lot more than that. Because you can prove and show at the end of the day that you knew about the situation and y'all did nothing about it but sweep it under the rug. And because you swept it under the rug, that made Mr. Williams even more anxious to go out and do even more dumber stuff, like send out soft pornography to other people using postcards in the United States Postal Service. So I don't think a privately owned building is going to want that kind of heat. Because that's going to make their building look bad. As if they're building a bad, at the end of the day, they could lose funding for the building. You know, when you get these houses through Section 8 or through public housing, and say you're trying to get your house eligible for this, you're going to have to go through some kind of requirement. So you basically can be, what do you call it? You have to be approved of this. Not anybody can just jump in and do it. You have to be approved of that. And you get a bad name on you, especially for something what he just did, and nothing was done about it, you can lose your funding. So I guess what's more important? Go to court, you guys go through the mud, you lose your funding, and that's it. Or bottom line, at the end of the day, well, you settle out. Now, I don't care for me either way. It doesn't make a difference to me. If we go to court, we don't go to court, it doesn't make a difference to me. But I'm a man of reason at the end of the day. So we'll just go from there. I don't know how it's going to work out with the. I can say for me, now mine's separately. I have nothing to do with anybody else. So mine's separate. I don't know how my sister's going to feel about it because she had that stuff coming in and she has kids. I don't know how that's going to work. And I don't know how the funeral home's going to react either. Because that's her business that's sitting on the back of those cards. And the reason why his business is on the back of the cards, because we know all this from Mr. Williams. When I found out that, of course, when they talked to you, they told you do not use the address that you're at right now, right? They told you stop sending stuff over here, right? Because I noticed from the timeline of when they spoke to you, your name and the address of that building was on every single one of those letters. Tell me if I'm not in your head rent free right now. Then after they spoke to you, the name, the address stopped appearing on there. You started using other people's addresses. That got you in worse trouble. Because you figure at the end of the day, if I don't put the address on there, they can't pin it back to me. Again, we know your initials. Your initials type up multiple times. On top of that, your handwriting. You know your handwriting can be matched to a crime scene? Yeah, your handwriting comes up over and over again. Even worse, even if you did change the address, Mr. Williams, you're still in deep trouble. We got multiple letters with that address attached to it. Now, you thought on their end, I'm not going to get caught by them. You forgot about our end. We're the ones following charges against you. We're the one filing lawsuits against the building. We can prove and show the judge that you sent multiple emails and letters with that address attached to it, with your fingerprints intact. That's the part you didn't think about. So you thought, at the end of the day, they'll scold me. I'll use someone else's address and then get brought back to me. That's what I'm going to do. That's what you thought. That's the biggest mistake you made in your life, because we already have evidence already. We, on the other hand, are prosecuting you in court. We're sending you to jail. We're suing your unit. So with that being said, no. The only thing you thought in the day that you were covering your tracks were all over the place a long time ago. When you first started sending out letters, your tracks were everywhere. The place you're at right now doesn't decide whether you go to jail or not. We do. We're the ones filing the criminal charges. Unless they go in and they basically file criminal charges against you at the end of the day. Then they decide. But we're the ones who file the criminal charges. We're the ones who decide, and from the evidence we get to the judge, when the judge sees all this, they decide from there with the evidence we have that you're going to go to jail. And you are going to jail. What did Celine Bird tell you when you contacted her in the low rises? She said, you better cut it out or you're going to jail. Now you're going to jail. Worst thing about it is you got 3 people going to be showing up in court to prosecute you. So that's basically about it. Mr. Williams needs to find God desperately, because you stole from him. And when you steal from him, do you know that, again, there are sins that are unforgivable? And leading someone down, another Christian down the wrong path to condemn them, you can be condemned yourself for that. So whoever you were talking to at the end of the day, anyone around your building, whatever, trying to convince them that you're this preacher at the end of the day, and I'm pretty sure you talked it up a lot around a lot of people, let them know you're a preacher at the end of the day, you have gotten yourself in a lot of trouble with God. Man, you better seek Jesus. You better seek Jesus quickly. But until then, Monday morning, Mr. Williams, Monday morning, this is where it begins. Monday morning. Monday morning, we will reach out to legal, or legal will reach back out to us. We will ask for an email address. We will submit all documents to them. They will be in contact with your social worker. They'll be in contact with the building. And there we will explain to them we are in the process of seeking legal counsel because we are filing a lawsuit. So the best thing for them to do on their end is to figure a way how we can get this resolved, but also too, we are going to file lawsuits because there was just too much stuff that was done. Even the judge agreed on that 100%. Was way too much stuff that was done. They have insurance just for occasion like that. You know, people slip and fall in buildings all the time. But this loss is going to be a little bit much, but it at least, you know, it could be far worse if we go to court because they're liable for everything that went on. All right, well, that's basically about it. I got someone to go check out this dome again. Go up there and take a look at this dome. I want some pictures of it. They were having some kind of school program up there. I don't want to be up there taking pictures. Got kids up there. No, it's weird. Anyways, but the park should be pretty much empty on Sunday, so I'll go take a look up there, get some pictures of it. I want to get this thing up close. At least I know it's on my way to my walk, so that's great too. On top of that, I get a little workout in. Because I need to get my workout in. There's not much more workout. And he's up there on his perch. I gotta get him more. I'm gonna make a more comfortable area for him up there. Now he's going up there now. Superstar. I don't know where I was. I saw a TikTok video stuck in my head now. All right, well, that's basically about it. Now, next time we come on, which will be Monday, we'll be basically talking about that thing over there. I can't wait to get that thing set up. I'm putting a RetroPie in there. Trying to figure out where we're going to put the RetroPie in there. It's a projection screen. It's literally a projection screen. That's a projection screen. We're definitely going to put a RetroPie in there. That's going to be cool as I don't know what, man. Cool. Is that a new what? Put a RetroPie in there. Gotta go, people. Hope you enjoy your day. As I said before, seek God, seek God, seek God, seek God, seek God. Remember, every day you're given is a blessing from God. It's a blessing. It's a blessing. It's a blessing. It's a blessing. It doesn't have to be that way, but God has made it that way. I gotta go. Thank you for your time, for listening. New subscribers, hello, how you doing? Hope all is going well with you. Hope you find Jesus in your life. Hope everything is going nice and bright. Gotta go. Thank you for your time, and God bless.